looking live at Calgary. We are live in McMahon Stadium, where the Stampeders have never lost a Western semifinal to the BC Lions. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Armitage, and welcome to the second half of our CFL doubleheader. This is semifinal Sunday. Well, this is the fifth meeting between the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders in a Western semifinal. Calgary have never lost, going way back to 1969. But in the series this year, the BC Lions have a 2-1 edge, and that includes a 34-16 win over the Stampeders on October the 27th. The Lions are playing their third game in 9 days, and they have lost 5 of their last 7. On the other side of that coin, the Stampeders have won 3 of their last 4, including a huge win over Winnipeg on November the 2nd. Now let's go upstairs and join the men in the booth, Chris Cuthbert and Chris Walton.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, everybody. A magnificent day at McMahon Stadium in Calgary as the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders get set to face each other for the third consecutive year in the postseason. And we don't have to remind you of the brilliant ride in the 2000 playoffs engineered by Steve Barato. But clearly, Chris, they had a little more momentum coming into the Western semifinal than this year.
Well, absolutely, Chris. But I think the biggest thing is, and there's been so much knocks on who's going to show up. Which Damon Allen will show up today? The big key, I think. We know what he did last year in the 3 games. No interceptions, 6 touchdown passes. He's the key.
And on the other side of the field, Wally Buono coaching in his 12th consecutive year in the postseason, but yet the speculation, is this his last game on the sidelines as the head coach of the Stampeders at McMahon Stadium? Well, he mentioned conditions couldn't be better. It's a little reminiscent of last year's Grey Cup week in Calgary. Perfect conditions for November.
Well, you gotta love it. You know what I like about that? Let the teams decide the outcome of this football game, and it's always nice when the weather is not a factor.
There's Brett Anderson getting set to kick it off. Steve mentioned 5 losses in the last 7, 7 losses in the last 10 games for the defending Grey Cup champions, and yet they defeated Calgary here 2 weeks ago, 34-16. That's Antonio Warren, pinball, talking about his brilliant year, and he was exceptional in that game 2 weeks ago with 243 return yards. The Edmonton Eskimos await the winner in next week's West Division Final, which will be played at Commonwealth Stadium. And we're just about set to get things going. Brett Anderson putting it on the tee, and away we go. 2 years ago, Calgary won in BC in the Western Final. Last year, BC won here at McMahon. So the rubber match, if you will, of sorts, a week earlier. And the 2001 Western semifinal off on the right foot of Brett Anderson. Taken by Clinton Wayne, one of the upmen, to the 37-yard line, a 5-yard return as Marcus Crandall will lead the Calgary offense, the highest scoring offense in the Canadian Football League this year. Crandall playing in his first playoff game as a starter.
Well, also, Chris, he has the best passing percentage in the CFL, and that's a big bonus coming to this game.
Well, we talked earlier today about Crandall's troubles against the Lions. 7 interceptions, 2 touchdown passes in the 3 meetings this year. Look at the way they stacked up to face the run, and they faced Kelvin Anderson on the first play from scrimmage.
Well, that's what you're going to do. They're going to line 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage, and the big thing is, if Anderson gets through that initial wall, the safety's going to have to be the guy to make the play. But you see, there's Crandall, Regenbald, Kelvin Anderson, receiving crew, Peterson, Bo Richter, Danielson, Aubrey Cummings in the wide, Crysdale, McNeil, who's nominated as top Canadian and top offensive lineman, Heisman, Childress, and Thomas Raham.
And the game is on already, Chris. No huddle for Calgary, 2nd and 7, and the ball knocked down at the line. There were 4 balls knocked down at the line of scrimmage the last time these teams met, and twice the ball was picked off. This time Carl Kidd got his mitts on the Crandall pass.
Well, absolutely. That's the thing. He had 4 interceptions. 2 were deflected passes. You can't really control that, but they put so many guys on the line of scrimmage, and when they bring Kidd up, he's just going to get his paw up there. He can't get to the quarterback. Next best thing, get your hands up, knocks the ball down, and every time the ball's knocked down, there's an opportunity for an interception.
Great start for the Lions D. Abbotsford, BC native. Duncan O'Mahony in to punt the football to G. Roy Simon. Off the side of his foot. And it will stay in bounds, and Simon will pick it up and draw the no yards, 5-yard penalty. Only a 32-yard punt by the rookie kicker of the Calgary Stampeders as we take a look at the game keys.
Well, I think it's very important. I mean, when you're BC, I mean, Damon Allen's taking a lot of heat right now, but I think the receivers have really got to start competing for that football. You can't sit stationary. Come back to the quarterback. Help out Damon Allen. On defense, it's simple. You got to shut down Anderson. You know what? They're going to try and run him, take some of the heat off Crandall. Shut Anderson down, force Crandall to throw the ball. For Calgary, burn the blitz. You know, we just saw it already. I mean, the Lions are going to line up 8 people. Even their mothers are coming out of the stands on the line of scrimmage. Burn them. Take advantage of that. On defense, it looks crazy, but force Damon Allen to throw the football. Don't let him hurt you with his legs.
Now's the time for Damon to do his talking. And he hands the football off. They go to the right side. Robert Drummond with the carry. Chris, we watched him storm off the field after the pregame warm-up, and it still seems like he has a burr in his saddle from the comments a couple of weeks ago from Willie Fells.
Well, as we take a look at Damon Allen's numbers, I mean, 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and you know the thing that's key about that is before he got injured against this very Calgary Stampeder team, he was leading the league in touchdown passes and total yards.
Drummond got 6 on the first carry of the game. 2nd and 4 for the Lions. Short drop for Allen, and he has a completion to Simon at midfield, stretched out, and he does have the first down at the midfield stripe. William Fields with the tackle on the former Blue Bomber.
Well, that's just a nice job of getting the ball. We talked about receivers coming back. We see Damon Allen, 2 big running backs, Millington, Robert Drummond. Of course, the receiving crew taking a lot of heat. Jackson's taking it upon himself to instruct these guys. Oliver, Simon, Dennis Montana at the wide receiver, and a big offensive line. Jamie Terrace, Harden, Hendrickson, Wes White, and Corey Mantika at the tackle.
They were the strength of the team last year, inconsistent this season. And there's another completion from Damon Allen. And a flag flies after the Oliver catch, and that may be a face mask. And the chattering starts along the Calgary sidelines.
Well, one of the things you can't control are the penalties, and you don't want to take penalties to give, you know, added field position to the offense. I think it's strange
Major
right
foul,
here.
face mask, Calgary number 30, first down.
Well, Joe Barnes grasped the face mask of Jimmy Oliver, and they'll move it 15 yards, and a promising opening drive for the Lions.
And Damon Allen throwing the ball very effective, and the receivers actually coming back to the football. We talked about being that one of the keys. It's exactly what they got to do.
19th playoff start for Damon Allen. The receiving or the passing game for the Lions has been dormant in recent weeks. Good start, and now back to the ground. Drummond trying to get outside, and Jeff Traversy from behind pulls down Drummond.
Well, that's a nice job of Traversy coming from the inside tackle position, chasing the flow from the backside, wrapping up Robert Drummond for little or no gain. I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, all the other guys in the defensive line, sacks. Jacobs, 9 sacks. Cott, 9 sacks. Joe Fleming, of course, leading the way with 11 sacks. You got to get some production out of the other tackle. We got some right there from Jeff Traversy.
No gain, 2nd and 10. There's Joe Fleming, the top defensive player on the Calgary Stampeders this year. They hand the the football off on 2nd and 10, and Traversy's there again. Sean Millington dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, Traversy makes this play, but I tell you what, the guy that's key to this play is the force of the defensive end, Ray Jacobs. He stuffs the man right in the backfield. He gets it back. Look, watch this. He runs into his own blocker. As a result, he has to stop, regroup, try and find some other location to go. Jeff Traversy right there.
Well, you mentioned Jacobs, who's been red hot of late. 5 sacks in his last 3 games since being moved to the strong side end. And now BC must settle for a field goal attempt of 43 yards with young Matt Kellett putting his foot into the ball, and that kick is a good one. And the BC Lions have struck first here in the Western Semi at McMahon. Good start for nose tackle Jeff Traversy, the Ottawa native, in his 5th year with the Stampeders, limiting the damage to a field goal for the BC Lions on their opening drive. 3 meetings during the regular season, and here's how it unfolded. Calgary winning the first, and then the Lions bouncing back, and particularly impressive, Chris, in Week 17.
Well, absolutely. The last game, the Week 17 game, total domination on both sides of the football by the BC Lions.
Anderson with the kickoff, and Anderson with the return. That's Kelvin in front of Antonio Warren, and it does not look like the Lions want to kick the ball to Antonio Warren this afternoon.
I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, as you say, the one aspect of the game in that last debacle that Calgary had against BC, the biggest factor that they had was Antonio Warren's kickoff return yardage. Barato said yesterday in a press conference, we want to keep him away from the football as much as possible.
How about the pop by Lyle Green, a reserve running back for the Lions, nailing the starting running back for the Stampeders on that kickoff return. Calgary starts at its own 40-yard line, and Kelvin Anderson has the ball. And underneath that pile to the 45 and across, he may have 6 on that carry.
Well, that's the way to start off right there, running the football right at the heart of that defense. And it's a good defense. Herman Smith, Cantor, Cameron Legault's had a great season. David Benefield at the rush end. Kidd, Simpson, Barron Simpson, Mr. Everything in that linebacking core. And, of course, the secondary. Hendron, Anderson, Lewis, Curry, and Carter at the corner.
2nd and 4 out of the shotgun. Crandall delivers the football, and it was caught. That's Vince Danielson, who yesterday told me, I'm not going to get you the 40 or 45-yard pass, but if you need 7, I'll get you a tough 7.5. And that was a great illustration.
Well, absolutely. He is the go-to guy. I mean, you know what? They talk about missing Travis Moore and the fact it opens up. Well, look at that. He pushes right off. Nice job of getting away from Fletcher, getting some separation.
What a catch.
Gets a bit of a bounce on that one, but still, good concentration there.
So it's a first down at midfield. And again, Calgary operating without a huddle to try and keep this blitzing Lions defense a little off balance. Benefield with the tackle on Kelvin Anderson.
Well, absolutely. Hurry up offense, not allowing the defensive coordinator to send in the plays. And a nice play by that. They'll just stay in whatever defense they were in prior. But I mean, you can see all the guys on the line of scrimmage. The linebackers are right tight to the line of scrimmage. There's Kidd, Fletcher. They're all right up tight.
You saw the numbers for Anderson. He had 2 100-yard rushing games against BC. Just 1 on that carry, so it's 2nd and 9. Quickly to the outside. That's the rookie Kamau Peterson, who's really been coming on for Calgary. A catch. He loses his helmet and will be short of the first down.
Well, as you say, he really is coming on. I tell you what, he is making some big plays. They really think this kid's got a future, not just as a player, but being a star. Actually, Travis Moore yesterday said, you know what, we may not see this guy in a couple years. He's that good. He has so much potential. But look at all the guys on the line of scrimmage. And as you say, this guy here, a former high jumper, he climbed the ladder to get those catches.
Cedric Curry, Curtis Anderson limit the gain, and O'Mani just 32 yards on his first ever postseason punt, with G. Roy Simon deep for the Lions. And trouble with the snap. O'Mani in difficulty, and he'll throw it into the Lion bench.
After the bad snap,
hard to tell if Calgary had a play on or not. but an errant snap. And the Lions take over on downs. There's fullback Scott Regimbald, who actually got in the line of fire on that snap from Mark Pilon.
Well, there's a reason. Watch him. Watch this defender right here. Now what happens? He has got to come across here and try and pick him up. He can't get over there, and as a result, he tries to cheat. The long snap hits him in the arm, and a big turnover going to the Lions early.
Well, Manny alertly got it out of trouble, but the Lions take over at their own 50. And a big gain for Robert Drummond up the middle.
12 yards.
Ricky Bell finally had to stop him in his tracks.
Ray Jacobs, number 84, in on the tackle. Ricky
Well, here's a team that rushed for over 200 yards last time they played. These defenders, they've got to tighten up in the middle. And Travis E. Fleming, the tackles, Cotton, Jacobs playing the defensive end positions. Mr. Everything, A.J. Johnson, Floyd, Fells at the linebacker position. And a secondary anchored by Greg Freres, Bell, Barnes getting a start at the corner, Malvo, and Fields.
Well, there's Alondra Johnson, who said he'd be paying special attention to Damon Allen. There's that little toss to Millington, and Johnson bounced off Millington. Well, you don't see that often, but it's another example of the power of the diesel, Sean Millington.
Well, you know what? He wants the ball every time, and you love that enthusiasm. He feels he's not being utilized properly, but he said that every year he's played in this league. Just a matter of just getting down. Now, Cotton's responsibility, the defensive end, he's got him. 99 is got. As you can see, he's got to take Damon Allen. It's just a shovel pass. Then it falls upon Alondra Johnson to make the tackle on Diesel. But as you say, Millington, none of it. Breaks a tackle. Nice gain.
An 11-yard gain for Drummond. That was 12 for Millington. So the 3D offense is warming up here. And this is Millington thundering downfield and pushed out by the safety, Greg Freres, near the 10. Well, this is vintage BC Lions offense.
Absolutely. I mean, they're just going right at the heart of the defense right there. A simple handoff, just trying to get him a seam right there. They got everybody on the line of scrimmage. Just a nice job at the point of attack. But Jamie Terrace, number 60, nice job as a center, getting out and kicking out and knocking the block, the defender outside, allowing the seam to be there. And I tell you what, Millington is loving this stuff early.
He told me yesterday, I've never been used the way I'd like to be used in any year of my career. And Sean Millington's been in the CFL for 11 years. Allen with the pitch, that's a live football, and Drummond bats it out of bounds. Good veteran play by Drummond, who hears it from the fans at McMahon.
Well, it's just a quick pitch. All they're going to do is just like an option. Come out, take a couple steps. See, they can run the shovel pass inside. They can run the option to the outside. All that is a straight option to the outside. As you say, the ball gets away from Drummond, and very fortunate to be the last one to touch that football before it goes out of bounds.
So it's a loss of 6. 2nd and 16. Second and goal from the 16. Allen pumped once, now into the end zone and out of the reach of Jimmy Oliver. So once again, Calgary's defense does firm up in the red zone.
Well, nice job of coverage by Joe Barnes, not biting on the pump fake by Damon Allen. I mean, talking to Wally Buono yesterday, Barnes getting the start. Normally a halfback, but he feels he's a better cornerback on the outside, and he does a nice job of staying step for step with Jimmy Oliver. But the pump fake, Damon Allen's going to fake him, trying to freeze him, and throws it deep over there. But number 30, Joe Barnes, stays right on him.
23-yard field goal missed by Matt Kellett, who had kicked 8 in a row. And so the Lions squander an excellent scoring opportunity and only add 1 to the total. It's 4-0 with just under 6 minutes to play in this opening quarter.
Well, you know, it's a nice hockey score right now, but the thing is I like, and if you're a BC fan, is the way they are dominating the line of scrimmage early.
Steve Barato has seen his team establish the running game. Their first 5 first down plays of this opening quarter, they have 77 yards. So success on first down has been the key to the lead, but it should be a lot more than 4-0.
Absolutely. And remember what Wally Buono said, this game will be won and lost in the trenches.
Marcus Crandall back to work at the 35. Antonio Warren is in. He backs up for Kelvin Anderson, has 5 yards. Warren on the year, 372 yards in limited action as the backup to Kelvin Anderson.
But even more impressive, Chris, is his 6.3 average yard per carry. That's a great average.
Different look at running back with Warren in, a slasher. He got 4, it's 2nd and 6. Crandall again looking for Danielson, and it is a catch and another first down, and Vince Danielson reestablishing himself as a go-to guy after an injury-plagued season.
You know what, Danielson, he's a veteran, he's savvy, he knows exactly what he's got to do. He knows how to run the defender off and come back to the football. Boy, I tell you, this is beautiful executed. Crandall sits back there, but Danielson's coming back to the football as he makes the catch. He knows exactly where he's going to be when he gets tackled because there's tight coverage by Fletcher, but he picks up the first down.
Second time he has had a first down catch in this opening quarter. Back it's on the ground to Warren to the 50. 3-4 for Antonio Warren. A little surprising we're seeing Warren this early. Scanning the bench to see if all is well with Kelvin Anderson.
You know, they've been doing that as the late part of the season. They've really been doing a lot more alternating of Anderson and Antonio Warren. And, you know what, I think Anderson would love to carry the ball more because every back will tell you he wants to get into the flow of the game.
Here's Crandall facing the blitz, and he has to ditch the ball. An incompletion on 2nd and 6, and that's that blitz package that the Lions used so well against Calgary in particular.
Well, I mean, it's a coverage sack. I mean, he's sitting back there. Initially, he's got time, but nobody picks up Herman Smith, number 91. He comes from the outside. Just a nice job. You're only going to be able to block so many people. And BC's defense, they play the game. You block 6, will bring 7. They're always going to bring one guy and try and free up one guy. And as a result, on that play, 91 comes in free and makes the play.
6 sacks of Calgary quarterbacks 2 weeks ago. O'Mani with Simon awaiting. And a much better punt by O'Mani. Simon back near his 5-yard line and swarmed down at the 6. A 50-yard punt. Willie Fells led the Red Brigade down. A loss of 3 on the return. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Chris Cuthbert, Chris Walby, Steve Armitage, Brian Williams, along with Pinball Clements and Danny Barrett. Watching this Western semifinal, the BC Lions off to a quick start with field goal attempts on their opening 2 series. Only a 4-point lead, but the offense has looked impressive until they've gotten down into scoring position. This time they're backed up as they start at their own 6. And Sean Millington. Remember, 222 yards rushing for Millington, Drummond, and Allen 2 weeks ago. And Calgary has not been able to solve this running game so far today.
Well, it's just a matter of putting a man on a man right there. Get some push from the offensive line, and they're creating a seam. They do a nice job of creating a seam. Just getting a guy, everybody on a guy. And look at the cutback lane. And the reason the cutback's there is the backside is holding on to their blocks. That's a wonderful job at the point of attack and the back.
Millington and Drummond both with over 800 yards rushing on the year. And this time he is stopped. Robert Drummond stuffed by Alondra Johnson. Traversy in the pile too.
Well, AJ making the play on that tackle, but I tell you, one of the things that's happening, and you're getting some good runs from the BC offense and the running backs, is they're allowing the defending tackles are allowing the offensive lineman to get a man on Alondra Johnson. If you don't block the middle linebacker, he's going to make the play. If you get somebody on it, you're going to be running the daylight, and that's been happening so far.
Two of the great veterans in the league on either side of the football, and Allen steps up first time, silky smooth, and he is brought down by Ricky Bell. That's the man who on a blitz earlier this year in BC broke the left hand of Damon Allen.
Well, one of the things about Damon is he will hurt you through the air, and he'll hurt you with his legs. We talked about that. You got to keep him in the pocket. Nice job, but he steps up in the pocket. Then it becomes a foot race, and as you say, silky smooth. You're not going to catch him very often. Nice job of Ricky Bell to fall off his coverage and make the play.
It was 2nd and 9, and Allen gets 9. So the Lions have worked it out from the shadow of their own goalposts. A little more breathing room at the 29. They stay on the ground. And Robert Drummond churning close to another first down.
Well, they're just doing a wonderful job, those big old hoggies, of just getting on somebody, letting the back find a hole. I mean, you got to love the fact that if it's not Millington carrying the football, it's going to be the other horse, and that's Drummond. I mean, nice job. I mean, dancing around there, you see people on their back. You see Hendrickson doing a back block. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just know your assignment and execute. And right now, this BC offense is really executing.
Well, the measurement shows that they're just a yard short, 2nd and 1. Ken Lazarick in charge. Well, Steve Barrato was saying yesterday, we've run the ball well, we just don't stick with it at times. But the offensive line, boy, they go by your playbook. Jamie Terrace yesterday, a big smile on his face. We're running the football. We're happy now. It's about time.
Absolutely, that's what you want to do. And I mean, it takes the pressure off them when they want to throw the football.
2nd down, less than a yard.
Well, 2nd and less than a yard. And Allen will keep it, and he'll move the chains once again. We're in the final minute of an opening quarter that has been dominated by BC, and yet just a 4-point lead to show for it so far.
Well, only 4 points, but a whole increased level of confidence by this BC offense. I mean, if you watch the last game they played in that makeup game against Hamilton, this doesn't even look like the same team, Chris. They were so awful, and as you said earlier, they were ugly. It was awful. I mean, it was hard to watch that football game. I mean, now you will come out here, and Damon Allen, he's running the show, baby.
Looks like the Allen of old. Looks like the defending champions. First down, and Damon in trouble. Down he goes as they get to the quarterback. And that is Clinton Wayne.
A nice job by the first-year player out of Ohio State. The rookie coming in does a nice job of getting penetration, not allowing on that play action by Damon Allen for him to set up. Good pressure, good result at the end of the quarter.
That is the final play of the opening quarter here in the Western semifinal, and the BC Lions with a 4-point lead. Welcome back to McMahon on the opening 2 drives. The Lions put 4 points on the board, a field goal and a missed field goal. And now they face a 2nd and 15 after the sack of Damon Allen by Clinton Wayne.
Well, I don't think this is any surprise after the first quarter. I mean, time of possession looks, if you looked at that, you'd almost be fooled by first downs. BC 8 to Calgary's 2, but BC is just running the ball. I mean, 75 yards rushing to 18 for Calgary. I mean, they're really opening up some holes, and of course, Millington and Drummond, they're just exploiting that front 4 of the Calgary Stampeders.
After the sack to conclude the first, it's 2nd and 15.
So we start the second quarter, 2nd and 15 BC. 5 receivers out. Allen looking downfield, looking for Alfred Jackson, and he's got it. Alfred Jackson down to the 34-yard line, working against Kelly Malvo.
Nice job, but it all works from protection. I mean, nice job, and we talk about the run setting up the pass. This is a result of the run. I mean, they sit back there. You can see Alfred Jackson just going to work across. Almost look like he's going into the middle, and then he's going to break it off to the corner. Nice corner route. Now he gets, we're talking about, here's a guy that's playing with tendonitis in his knee, but what a great job of getting separation from the defender Malvo on that play. And then again, great concentration on making a great over-the-shoulder catch.
Well, the knee has given him enough trouble to keep him out for 2 months. He is on the limp again, and really there was some doubt whether Alfred could get deep, but he has stretched the defense here and made a big play. How many big plays will he be available for today? Now on the limp again. Here's Allen, pumped, stopped, and nearly threw an interception. Malvo got a hand on it, as Allen would have been better to throw that one into the sidelines.
Well, just running a little bit of a quarterback counter, pulling the two backside linemen, and he has the option to either run if it's open or throw the football. And as you say, he tried to force the throw right at the end of this replay, and I mean, very, very fortunate, because this ball should have been picked off by Kelly Malvo.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 at the Calgary 33 after the 42-yard pass from Damon Allen to Alfred Jackson. And there are the playoff numbers for Damon. Only Ron Lancaster has thrown more touchdown passes in the postseason. And there's Oliver, who drops the ball. The contact there on the sidelines from Joe Barnes sprung the ball loose.
But you got to be inspired by what you see from the receiving corps. I mean, they're coming back. Watched last week, they didn't do anything. They stood like statues out there. This time, Jimmy Oliver comes back to the football. But as you say, a nice job of Barnes rocking him in the back, knocking that ball loose.
And the veteran Anthony Pryor out with a groin injury, so Barnes moves to the corner. Malvo is in at the starting halfback spot, and Matt Kellett called upon for the 3rd time today. This from 40 yards out, and he has missed again. Antonio Warren will let it roll out the back of the end zone, and the Lions are squandering opportunities here, as it's now a 5-0 lead, BC. 1 for 3, Matt Kellett. 5-0 Lions. Kelvin Anderson checks back in for the Stampeders. A couple of series for Antonio Warren. Kelvin told us yesterday he's feeling good. He really wasn't used much in the last 3 weeks of the year. Felt rejuvenated. And even better after his bubble bath before the game. That's a ritual of his. And here's Kelvin Anderson, straight up the middle for 3, and that is the 6th consecutive first down play on the ground for what's been a predictable Stampeder offense in this first half.
Well, I think they're going to do that. I mean, you can see that they got everybody lined up on the line of scrimmage right here, and they're just going to try and get some openings, create a little seam, and allow Calvin to kind of exploit that. BC right now, the defense doing a good job.
2nd and 6 for Crandall. Out of the backfield, there's Kelvin Anderson. First down, and a little bit more as he's run out hard at the Lions bench. Got a Gatorade bath over there, I think.
Well, I'm sure that's not the same as his pregame bubble bath, but the biggest thing, I mean, the last game they played against BC, and they got beat 34-16, the leading receiver was Kelvin Anderson with 8 catches coming out of the backfield. Now, obviously, if he's not getting the big yardage running the ball, he's such a good weapon that you got to give him the ball other ways. Here's the other way. Throw him a little dump pass. Let him use this athletic ability to take it up. And, of course, there he goes over into a shopping cart. BC trying to haul him away.
12 yards for Anderson. Back to the ground, and this is Antonio Warren.
Antonio Warren, number 6,
Anderson is
to go to the sidelines.
Out, and this will happen, and Anderson makes the call. He'll give Warren the sign, you take over for a down or two, and it has helped him to his best season, 1,383 yards. And remember, he played in the XFL. It's been a long year for Kelvin Anderson.
But still, you know that any running back says, I want to stay in the game. I want to touch the rock as many times as possible. And I think it's a great thing, very gracious of him to allow Warren in there. But I'm a little surprised.
2nd and 8, Crandall dropped it, picks it up, and it's batted down. Mike Fletcher in the face of Marcus Crandall.
Well, Fletcher, Carl Kidd's in there as well. I mean, the linebackers, every time it's a throwing situation, they're going to be right up there, and they're going to try and get some pressure on him. And again, if you can't get to the quarterback, it's the old saying again, get your hands up. But Marcus just simply drops the ball as he's bringing it back in. Very fortunate to get it back, and then, of course, then it's knocked down by Mike Fletcher, number 1.
So 4 consecutive Calgary drives have ended with punt attempts, and the one punt attempt that went awry with the snap hitting one of the up men. O'Mani back in. Another good kick. And G. Roy Simon from his 10. And nowhere to go. Ipton Carab led the charge downfield. The BC Lions on top midway through the second quarter.
Use your Canadian Tire credit card when you run in, and you'll run out with 20% more Canadian Tire money on the card. It pays to use the card.
When the BC Lions go back on offense, AJ Alfred Jackson will be going into the game. When he caught that pass, he landed on his right knee. That's the one with the tendonitis. Bill Rochelle and the athletic staff looked at it. They rubbed it down. AJ says he's going back in.
Early movement. And Ken Lazarick to sort things out.
I think Lyle Green, 28, lining up in a tight end position, kind of jumped the gun.
Procedure. BC, number 28, still first down.
That's that tight end set they'll use. Actually, they'll put Lyle Green and Mike Maurer on the ends at times.
Well, it's a nice job because it forces the linebackers to come outside and have to respect them because they can't catch a ball. As a result, you open up the middle and allows more running room for the running backs.
1st and 15. Lions backed up at their own 9-yard line. And Robert Drummond hauled down by Ray Jacobs. Alondra Johnson in support.
Well, it's a nice job of Jacobs fighting off the block, coming back inside. I mean, he's just down to the bottom right here, and all he's going to do is just going to come up the field and come back inside. See, it keeps him. He forces the play back inside that has a presence to come off the block and make the play. That's exactly what you want to do from a defensive end position.
Fastest of the front four. Ray Jacobs started as a nose tackle in Calgary, and to exploit that speed, moved outside. Now the strong side end. 2nd and 12 after the 3-yard carry by Robert Drummond. Allen, the pressure on. He escapes at the goal line and throws the ball away. Wisely done with Willie Fells. Well, let's see now the flag down in the secondary of Calgary.
Well, it may go against Calgary, but I tell you what great athletic ability, as it looks like they're marking against BC.
Time count violation. BC, 9. 2nd down, repeat.
Well, they never got the play off a time count violation. They let that one hang out to dry for a long time.
But what great athletic ability by Damon Allen to avoid the sack by Jacobs in the end zone. I mean, that's what he gives you. I mean, he's so tough to bring down. He's not the biggest man, but he just knows how to break tackles and get big plays done at big times.
So they'll reload. Half the distance to the goal line, puts the ball at the 6. 2nd and 17. They are adjusting the clock, and so that's why we have a delay.
It's a chance for everyone to get on TV. National wave.
Clock says 9:55, but they might have allowed the clock to run during that long play. And the adjustment has not been made yet. Lions break the huddle again, but they're still working on the clock, and this is giving the Calgary fans time to get stoked up and urge the defense for a big stop.
Well, they definitely did. This is a great time to come up with a big stop and give your offense good field position, forcing BC to punt. But, you know, we've seen this earlier already this game. Chris, I mean, BC has had the ability to move out under the shadow of their own goalposts.
Yeah, but then you can run 20 seconds off. So put it at 10-14. 10-14, 10-14.
There you go. They've got it right now. And Ken Lazarick anxious to get this thing going again. With 10:14 left in the second quarter. And the Lions have had a long time to think about this 2nd and 17. They'll keep it on the ground. Robert Drummond breaks it out to the 20. He'll be stopped short of the first down, but not by much. Willie Fells, and there are Fells and Drummond jawing again. And we remind you, 2 weeks ago, when Fells ignited the animosity between these two teams, calling Drummond garbage.
But they're spreading it out. They got 2 tight ends, and that's the biggest thing they can do right now. That forces Calgary's defense to widen. That allows holes to be found. And I tell you what, Robert Drummond, as you say, running like a man possessed. And I agree with you 100%, Chris. I think we saw him leave the field before warm-ups or right after warm-ups. Very angry. I think he still wants to shove it right down Willie Fells' throat.
Thanked Willie Fells after the game for helping turn around the BC Lions season. That was a 15-yard gain, 2 yards short. Camille Loud and Antonio Warren back to accept the punt to Tony Martino, the former Stampeder, with a nice kick. And here's Warren picking his way up the field and now outside. He'll turn it up and only Martino in front. And finally run out of bounds. Well, Antonio Warren was more than a handful 2 weeks ago, and he busts this for 48 yards before Jason Kralt ran him out, and there is a flag on the play.
A late flag after Kralt already had taken Antonio Warren outside, out of bounds. The flag was thrown, and I think they're going to call unnecessary roughness on BC.
57-yard punt by Martino, pumped up against his old team, but he outkicked the coverage.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 20, first down.
And that's a roughing call against Tony Martino. And the ball will be at the 16-yard line when we return as Warren tries to provide Calgary with a spark. Welcome back to Calgary. Tony Martino auditioning for Walby's Warriors and called for roughing. What's that all about?
Well, you can't take penalties if you want to be a Warrior. I mean, I understand that he's maybe the last guy to, make the tackle on Antonio Warren, but he gets a little frustrated with Willie Fells, who's trying to block him.
Chance for Calgary to take the lead, and there's a completion down to the 5, and that's Mark Boerichter with his first catch of the afternoon.
Well, they really need to get Big Bo involved in this offense. I mean, last time they played, only 3 catches. Did a good job of shutting him out. I mean, he's big play, and I mean, you got to use both sides of the football field. We've seen Vince Danielson make some key catches. This is another guy. I mean, when you got a guy this tall with the kind of speed that he's got, utilize him.
And the measurement indicates a first down for the Stampeders at the BC 6. Well, it has been a sputtering offense for Calgary in this first half, but Antonio Warren giving them a shot in the arm and great field position. And now plenty of movement on either side. It's rush hour here as a number of players come in from the BC bench. They bulk up on the Calgary offense, and this has been an area, Chris, where the Stamps have really had trouble pushing through. Good between the 20s. Anderson to about the 4.
Well, if you're going to run it up the gut, a simple dive play, it's got to be quick hitting because you don't have enough people to block the outside. And on that play, that's all that happened. I mean, they brought up Herndon, the center, or the safety, and he just comes from the outside. Now, get up the middle. You got to get it up. It's got to be quick. You can see number 11 coming in there. Good penetration by Noah Cantor, but you have to hit those poppers in the middle quick.
Warner Herndon's made some big plays in recent weeks. Camille Loud is in. The fullback Scott Reginbald out, 2nd and goal. Crandall looking into the end zone and out of reach for Boerichter, who was being watched by the other Bo on the field, Bo Lewis.
Well, absolutely, but it almost looked like Mark Boerichter lost the ball in the sun. He was looking back for it. He's just going to work in and then push out to the outside off Lewis, go to the outside. Now he's going to look over his left shoulder or his right shoulder. You can see he kind of loses the football a little bit, and it's just a little too far.
So once again, Calgary unable to cash in the red zone. And Mark McLaughlin, perhaps his final game at McMahon, contemplating retirement. And the ball is through. Calgary on the board in a low-scoring first half of the Western Semi. So the Stampeders get on the board, but again, this is a team that's number 2 in yards this year. They did score a lot of points, Chris, but they also were really ineffective inside the 20 late in the year.
Well, the red zone is always hard. Everything seems to tighten up. I mean, you know, we got the 25-yard end zones, but still, it is awful hard. It seems like teams just tighten up down there. And you know what? I mean, there's a lot of teams that can really try to exploit that, but most of the time, you're going to have to kick a field goal, but at least there's points on the board. As you say, it's a low-scoring game right now, 5-3. They're still in it, and they had an impressive drive. Only 4 plays, but at least it's 4 plays together.
Your old buddy, the Big Chill, had his game face on, didn't he, at the Calgary bench? Freddie Childress. Mark McLaughlin kicking it off. And once again, G. Roy Simon trying to get outside. And Calgary's done a good job on kick coverage so far today. A 15-yard return after the 60-yard kickoff. A little bit of a melee away from the football, quickly separated. And Damon Allen goes back to work.
61 yards on
And most of the damage for BC's been done in the rushing game so far.
Well, we expect that. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you got the horses back there. We've seen Damon Allen take off with the football himself a number of times. But as you say, the 2 big horses in the backfield, Millington and Drummond, doing the majority of the work.
In the last 5 games of the year, Allen with just 1 touchdown pass, 5 interceptions thrown. You saw the lone setback is Millington, and Sean Millington to the 35 has 5.
Well, and you know, to counter with that, we also got to look at Millington. The last game, 3 touchdowns. The last 3 games, Millington 6 rushing touchdowns. So that just shows you how their fortunes have gone.
Player of the week last week offensively in the Canadian Football League, and he is the all-time BC Lion touchdown leader on the ground. He went by the great Larry Key with that touchdown surge late in the year. Alondra Johnson better strap up the hat.
You know what? He wants to be a warrior. He's doing a good job, though. He's in there right now barking out commands. He is the quarterback of that defense.
2nd and 5. Van Allen straight back. Looked one way, and now the pressure's on. And they get Allen back at the 30-yard line. James Cotton, the outstanding rookie defensive end, with the sack.
And they love that guy. Chris, I mean, he just comes across. You know what? A lot of rookies get, you know, I don't want to use the term sucked in, but they do. They kind of get fooled by the flow, but he just stays with the right guy. But look at the strength right there in the back of the shoulder pad, and just drag him down with one arm. Nice play by 99 James Cotton.
It's been a Buckeye first half for the Calgary defense. 2 sacks, both by Buckeye alums, James Cotton and Clinton Wayne of Ohio State.
Well, we talked about the fact that when Damon Allen takes off with the football, you've got to have contain on him. Can't let him get to the outside. That's a nice job of Cotton stopping that from happening.
Last time Antonio Warren returned to Martino punt, he took it 48 yards. Kicking well away from Warren, and this ball will skip out of bounds with no return at the Calgary 30-yard line. Big kick by Martino, 50 yards.
Out of bounds on 50-yard kick out at the Calgary.
One of the most gifted athletes in the Canadian Football League, laboring. Alfred Jackson trying to keep the knee warm on the sidelines. Aggravated after the 42-yard catch from Damon Allen. He had 8 touchdowns, Chris, in the month of August alone. And then the knee injury in Montreal that has really hampered his season since. Calgary starts out first down from their 30, and Anderson stuffed at the line and driven back by David Benefield as we join Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Chris. I'm with the injured Travis Moore. Travis, a quick thought on the play so far.
Oh, we just got to start moving the ball, just be a little more consistent. Right now we are spinning a little bit. We missed one down there, but we'll be all right. Things are looking good. Defense is playing well.
If the Stampeders win this one, will you play next weekend in Edmonton?
Yes, I should be able to play by next week. You know, right now it's just a little stiffness and too much to go on. I didn't have enough push, and so we thought it would be best for me to sit.
Thanks for this, Travis. Guys?
Well, the Stamps miss him, and Crandall misses Danielson with that second down attempt. Travis Moore was leading the CFL in receiving when he went down, and fans getting a little impatient with this sputtering Calgary offense.
You know what, you wonder how much you miss a guy like that. You see Winnipeg last week, they didn't have Milt Stegall playing the Stampeders. They say he's one man, but really when you have one man as a game breaker, it does open up for the rest of your offense. And I know guys like Bo Richter and Danielson would definitely benefit from the space giving them if Travis Moore was in this lineup.
Yeah, Pinball Clemens can lament when Daryl Mitchell went down and how it impacted on the Toronto Argonaut offense. Now Mel Long is deep for BC as O'Mani punts it away, and the coverage a little too quick downfield for Ricky Bell, and the no yards flags fly. 41-yard punt, and Bell claiming innocence. He tried to time that on the run, but he was just inside the 5-yard restraining area.
You know, you really hate these penalties. I mean, the penalties are just, at crucial times, they just give your,
No
they
yards.
put your defense in a bad
Calgary, number
situation.
26. First down.
I mean, he's claiming that when the ball was caught, he was outside of the 5-yard parameter. The referee, of course, didn't see it that way, and they'll tack on an extra 10, 15 yards.
Wally Buono has had an impressive effort from his defense in this first half, but BC now has good field position. The 2-point lead, 5:10 to go in the opening half. And the Lions take over at their own 43 after the penalty. And the give is to Millington, stuffed there. Alondra Johnson in on the tackle.
Well, Alondra Johnson just does a wonderful job, Chris, of scraping to the outside to make the play. I mean, you have to take him. You can see 51 is just going to come to the opening. He knows where the hole is, and he meets Millington in the hole.
Otis Floyd with first contact on the Lions running back, and then Johnson puts him away. Close to 1,000 tackles in his exceptional 13-year career, which began in BC the first 2 seasons. AJ was a Lion, 2nd and 9. Number 9 to the air, looking for Oliver, and he makes the catch in front of Joe Barnes.
Well, that is a nice job of knowing where the football is by Jimmy Oliver. Working one-on-one against Barnes, taking him on a streak pattern, just going to work him straight down the field. Barnes doesn't turn around. He has no idea where the football is. That's a nice job of 85 Jimmy Oliver turning back, good concentration and making that. That's a tough catch.
In sharp contrast to what you talked about earlier today, when the Lions receivers looked like statues in the last few weeks, not coming back to help their quarterback. 26 yards, Allen now fakes the shovel pass, and he's down once again. Ray Jacobs, who we mentioned has been red hot for Calgary, has the Stamps' 3rd sack of this first half.
Well, hey, Ray Jacobs gets the sack. Now, he's the beneficiary of a great defensive play. They're trying to run the shovel pass. All they're going to do is just going to come to the outside. Now he's going to fake the pitch. Now look, he wants to give it back to Millington. He's picked up. As a result, he's got nowhere to go, and he's staring right into the eyes of 84 Ray Jacobs.
Well, he told us yesterday, I can't allow Allen outside contain, and what a great illustration of doing your job.
Absolutely, keeping him inside, but again, the defenders also watching Millington, not allowing him to take that shovel pass.
Loss of 8, 2nd and 18. Allen to the air, over the middle, and off the fingertips of G. Roy Simon.
Well, G. Roy Simon with only 2 catches coming into this game. Last 2 weeks really not utilized much as a receiver, more dangerous as a punt returner. But as you say, good coverage. The ball just past the outstretched fingertips of G. Roy Simon.
Ricky Bell, the defender for Calgary, and now Kellett comes in to attempt
Lions kicker number 14,
his 4th of the game, 1 for 3, and this will be the toughest try from 46 yards out with David Rivers, the holder. And this time Matt Kellett is on the money. That's just his 4th field goal from between the 40 and the 49-yard lines this year. But the Lions reestablish that 5-point lead.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Lions leading the Stampeders 8-3. 3:03 to play in the second quarter. Coming up at halftime, Brian Williams will talk with the playoff panel of Danny Barrett and Mike Pinball Clemens. Don Whitman will have another page from the CFL scrapbook, and we'll have highlights from the Eastern semifinal played earlier today. Guys?
And our congratulations to Ron Lancaster and company for the win today, as they advance against the Blue Bombers, and Kelvin Anderson advances the football.
Well, his longest gain of the afternoon so far, but all through second and third effort. He's going to just take the handoff simple straight up the middle. Now he's stuffed. He looks, bounces off, fights. Nice job of getting on Barron Simpson there, knocking the middle linebacker out of the hole, but great second and third effort by Kelvin Anderson.
You know, he was saying yesterday, Steve talked to Travis Moore. Kelvin said, I miss Travis Moore more than anybody else, because even though he's a wideout, he clears a lot of space out for the running back. Now they go deep for Bo Richter. Mark Bo Richter got in behind the defense, and it's a Calgary touchdown. Its first lead of the afternoon.
Well, I tell you what, a nice job of getting behind the coverage of Curtis Anderson. 23 playing the halfback position. He just takes it straight down the field, works one-on-one, just gets on him now. It's man-to-man coverage right now, and he's got great speed. A tall target. We just talked about him, the fact that he's got speed, he's got height, he's explosive. You want to use him? Well, Crandall does that, and also Marcus Crandall throws his first touchdown pass in the last 3 meetings with the BC Lions.
McLaughlin adds the extra point. Bo Richter had 11 touchdown catches during the regular season, and you can see Crandall revitalized, a little more spring in his step after that.
Well, you know, they were talking about his confidence level. Where was it at? He didn't have a great game against these BC Lions 2 weeks ago. I mean, he threw 4 interceptions, didn't throw a touchdown, but then he played a really good game against Winnipeg, and it's really tough to win in Winnipeg. He did a great job, and he said, you know what? I feel good. I feel good. I think I'm going to have a career day today. Well, I don't know about a career day, but I tell you what, if he keeps making plays like this and they end up with the same results, he's going to be extremely happy.
He said that the Lions gamble on defense and that they bet you can't find the open man on time. That time the Lions lost the gamble.
Well, are we talking about burn the blitz? I mean, that's what we're talking about. You know, the Lions are going to bring everybody against you and try and get you, as you say, before you have an opportunity to find the receiver. But I tell you what, that is a nice job of Bo Richter getting away from the coverage early and quick, and a nice throw by Marcus Crandall.
The target who felt he was underused most of the year, particularly early, but he really heated up, and only Milt Stiegel and Ed Hervey caught more touchdown passes than Mark Bo Richter in the 2001 campaign.
And you really like the fact that they went vertically. They challenged the defense. Nothing going side to side. Let's go deep. Let's make them play honest.
Well, the Calgary defense kept the Stamps in early, and now the offense has responded. Here's G. Roy Simon. And continuing that good kick coverage downfield, the Stampeders limit Simon's progress to 18 yards.
Well, that's a big lift every time your offense, which has been under the gun for the Stampeders, does that. That jacks up the rest of the team. And as you say, the kick coverage for the Stampeders has been phenomenal today. They've done a great job. They've done their part. The defense, after a shaky start, allowing some big runs by the BC offense, they've kind of tightened up as well, Chris.
You saw the numbers for Damon Allen, who passed for just 69 yards on Tuesday in the playoff clinching victory against Hamilton. They start at their 34, and it's Millington off the left side all the way up to the 42. Willie Fells the tackle, but Millington has a productive 8 on first down.
Well, Wes White, Harden, and Jamie Terrace at the point of attack, they just do a nice job at the top side of your screen. I mean, they just get on that. Look at the push to the outside. 69 Wes White. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. It's not about pushing him 5 yards back. It's getting him out of the hole.
Second and 2. Back to Millington. First down. And Millington across the 50 to the 52. Otis Floyd finally brought him down.
Well, they come back with the exact same play, but it's the backside that makes this play happen. They get great cutoff blocks. He's originally going to the left. Now look at him, he cuts back. He actually can stop and change direction. But the guys on the offensive right side, Hendrickson, Mantika, do a nice job of not allowing the Calgary defense to flow with the play.
BC without a 100-yard rusher this season. But a big first half for Millington. That time, Joe Fleming forced him back inside into the grasp of James Cotton.
Well, those two guys are dangerous. I mean, if you're an offensive lineman and you're looking across and the first two guys you see are Fleming and Jacobs, I mean, it's a toss-up. They're both so dangerous. As you say, look at them, they're both in the play. Jacobs, again, always making sure that he's turning everything inside.
Well, Cotton has a sack today. There's G.I. Joe.
That's a great moniker.
Talked to him yesterday. He actually played in BC and Winnipeg with hockey shoulder pads. When he got to Calgary, they said, you got to get rid of those. But he's an old-time football player. Allen gets it away. And G. Roy Simon has some room to run for a first down.
Well, just a pattern running it across the middle. It's all cleared out. The other receivers are going deep. That takes everybody out of there. G. Roy Simon just slides across the middle, gets a good step, and nobody's even on him. You see Otis Floyd. Now, Otis Floyd has got to pick him up, number 35, but by the time he recognizes that, he's 4 yards behind.
Looking forward to halftime to hearing more nicknames from pinball, like G. Roy Simon says first down.
Oh, you're taking it out of him.
Pinball's inspirational. First down, Lions in Calgary territory. There's a strike from Allen to Jimmy Oliver.
Jimmy Oliver, number 85.
Well, another example again of Jimmy Oliver taking the defender deep and bringing him back to the football. Just sits back there, nice job. Look at the throwing lane. Look at that. I mean, that's a great job by the offensive line. But Oliver takes a step toward the football. Don't sit there stationary. You know, at least go after the ball, because you know the defensive backs are going to, and they're really doing a nice job. And that's twice we've seen Oliver give a good example of that.
5 yards for Oliver. 2nd and 5 for the Lions. At the Calgary 40, Allen looks, got an open man. Mel Long, the touchdown. Mel Long with his first ever Canadian Football League touchdown.
Well, I tell you what, never mind. He was so wide open in that play. But what protection. I mean, you know that I get a little crazy about talking about offensive linemen, Chris, but I tell you what, he had all day to throw this football. He's sitting back there. Just a nice job. I mean, you see AJ's not even in the picture. He's back behind the defensive line. But Mel Long gets behind coverage. The only guy that has a chance to come over is the safety, Greg Frères. But by the time he sees that, Mel Long is in the end zone.
One of 17 receivers used by BC this year. Long in just his 3rd game. And he has a touchdown catch of 41 yards to put the Lions back on top.
Well, you talked about the fact that Barato talked about his injuries hit his team key where? In the receiving corps. They went through 17 receivers, as you say. Here's the newest one right now, Mel Long. But look at how wide open he is. He gets past the halfback coverage, and the only person that can make the play is Greg Frères. And again, as we talked about, by the time he even tries to make the tackle, Mel Long is in the end zone.
Good job, Long.
Mel went long, and it's 15-10 with 47 seconds left in the first half.
But what a way to answer. I mean, right after Calgary, you know, gets a big play from Bo Richter, Damon Allen comes right back and shoves it right down. You know, I mean, that's what's great about this, and that's what's great about having this playoff atmosphere.
I saw what that free safety was and shit. Yeah, dog, he fought, but it's like he putting his back over that way to like where the 3 wide receivers are, and that dude is just holding, trying to get a good jam.
All right, that's all the analysis you need.
When that Ocean, they switched it that time.
Well, I tell you what, all I'm going to do is put the headset on that, because I think he described that play perfectly, Chris. I mean, he beat the jam.
Okay, yeah.
Here's a receiving core that seemed to be completely out of sync for the last few weeks. I guess with the exception of the last game here in Calgary, and even that game was dominated by the running
Isn't it
game.
amazing to watch when things go good, how the team comes together?
Well, let's see if Calgary can respond in this final minute. Anderson gave it back to Warren because he's done so much damage. This time Warner Herndon holds him down at the 34. So 40 seconds left on the clock in this opening half for Marcus Crandall.
Well, Marcus coming back on the field. I mean, he's buoyed by his last results. I mean, obviously the big play capped off by Bo Richter, but I mean, it's going to be seesaw. We saw the defenses on both sides dominate early in the game, and now we're seeing the offenses start to fire up.
Well, let's see what Marcus Crandall can do to answer back. He got away from Herm Smith, but long out, and the ball is ruled incomplete. Aubrey Cummings looked like he might have had that and coughed it up. It's a good thing for Calgary, because Mike Fletcher would be dancing into the end zone.
As you say, but initially, I mean, good pressure. Herman Smith gets in there, number 91. He steps away from that and then throws the ball away. Just as he throws it, the receiver, Aubrey Cummings, trying to come back and catch it on the go and reach forward. And as he does, he really doesn't secure the football. Helped by a little bit of the punch by the defender, but the ball falls incomplete.
We were watching Archie Amerson in that first game, wondered about a similar play and whether it should have been ruled fumble and not incomplete. Calgary gets a break, second down, and there is a catch over the middle. And there's Camille Loud, the former Buffalo Bill, who is in the game because of the injury to Travis Moore.
Well, Camille Loud, who only had 5 catches coming into the football game, but they really like this guy, Chris. They really feel he's picking up the offense. He's a big target as well. I mean, 6'3". I mean, this is another guy you want to utilize.
They're about 15 yards out of Mark McLaughlin field goal range. As you see the clock ticking down, Crandall delivers, and incomplete.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a little surprised by that because Bo Lewis grabbed Bo Richter on that play, and he got away with that one right there, baby.
I know you were throwing a flag up here.
I'm throwing a flag on that one because I can see it up here. I mean, that's a big break. I mean, you can see he's all over him. He tugs on the back of that, and Mark's looking for the flag. He's just going to work against the jam coverage. He beats him to the inside as he gets away. Look at that now. Now watch, they tag on him now.
That's Danielson on the other side. It's second and 10. And a pass over the middle complete. And Danielson at the 50. He is going to be 3 yards short. And this would be a 57-yard attempt for Mark McLaughlin. So what do they do? They're going to send Duncan O'Mahony out.
I think this is a good call. You don't want to take a chance on this. Pin him back, let your defense do the job. 13 seconds left in the first half. Just don't make any mistakes. They've had great kick coverage so far, and I don't want to put the curse on them, but as you say, first half so far, both teams on the kick coverage teams have done an excellent job.
McLaughlin's longest of the year, 53 yards, and it would have been into a light breeze. So Wally Buono opts for the punt. Maybe just try and draw BC offside. And instead they take the time count. That's what they tried to do, but the Lions wisely stood their ground.
That's a nice job.
Please put 1 second back on the clock. 1 second.
And now he'll just send the offensive unit out to kill the clock with 1 second remaining.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee that Marcus Crandall will just take a knee, kill the clock, and go into the dressing room and make any necessary adjustments they have to make and go over what they've seen in the first half from the defense of the BC Lions.
It's going to be a very interesting second half as these two teams exchange late first half touchdowns. Similar plays. First Bo Richter for Calgary, then long for the Lions. Fans wanted to see Calgary gamble, I think, in that dying seconds, and they're on the Stampeders.
Fans always want to see something happen, but I mean, the fans got to understand that for them to win this football game, they've got to make the smart things. That was a smart decision.
5-point lead for Calgary, or for BC, as we join Steve.
Thank you, Chris. I'm with head coach of the BC Lions, Steve Barato. Steve, you got to be pleased with the way your team responded late in that second quarter.
Well, we came up with one that we've been trying to get all day long, and it's nice to finally get one. I would have thought we'd have got one from a little closer in than where we did, but Damon made a nice read, and Mel made a great catch, and it helped a great deal because we missed a couple field goals and wasted a lot of good work on offense.
I was going to say, are you not a little disappointed based on time of possession that you don't have a bigger lead?
Well, we should have, but we didn't get the ball in the end zone when we had it down there, and he missed a couple field goals. So that's a big difference. But we gave up one and came back and responded and got it back, and defense is playing exceedingly well, and Damon's doing a great job of moving the football.
Steve, thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Yeah,
Steve Barato and the Lions head to the dressing room, leading the Stampeders by 5, 15-10 at the half here at McMahon.
BC Lions on a late touchdown by Mel Long, in for the injured Alfred Jackson. A pass from Damon Allen with a 5-point lead at the half. And as both Chris Walby and Danny Barrett pointed out, that is a key play. Allen's been much maligned of late, but he changes the momentum. We will have the first half highlights with Danny Barrett and Pinball Clemens coming up in just a minute. Earlier this afternoon at Ivor-Wynne Stadium, Hamilton Ticats advanced to meet Winnipeg, defeating Montreal. Late on a Sunday afternoon, Scott Russell is all alone at Ivor-Wynne Stadium in Hamilton.
Lights are on at Ivor-Wynne Stadium in Hamilton, Ontario. Lights out for the Montreal Alouettes following the Eastern semifinal as Hamilton wins this one. Everybody talking at the outset of the game how much football the Tiger Cats had played in the last week or so. This would be their third football game in 9 days. Did they have anything left in the tank? Well, let's tell the Tiger Cats' tale. And in the first quarter, it was evident they did have something left. Former Toronto Argonaut, former Hamilton Tiger Cat, Archie Amerson back. He returned a punt 93 yards in the first quarter of play to get the Tiger Cats going. Nothing going right for the Montreal Alouettes, particularly Mike Pringle. He fumbled on the 5-yard line, 25 seconds left in the first half, and Mike Pringle was absolutely irate with his play in the first half. The Alouettes found themselves down to the Tiger Cats and in a hole. Danny Mac went to work again with Archie Amerson. 31 yards toss and run, 24-12. The Hamilton Tiger Cats win it as the defense held. Hamilton native Rob Hitchcock of the Tiger Cats. You talked at the outset of the show of containing Calvillo. Obviously you did that.
Yeah, our front seven contained him. They did an awesome job today. Our linebackers blitzed at times, and we shut down Pringle when we had to. And you know, whenever those guys can make Anthony throw the ball up, our defensive back made some plays today. And you know, got to hand it to those guys too. They had a heck of a ball game.
Scare early in the game where you rolled that ankle, anything that anybody should be concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I did a little something worse than I really did to it. It felt worse than it was, and the trainers did a good job on it. Popped a couple of pills, and you know, I'm a trooper. Got to get in there. I can't. It's a playoff game. You got to go in and you got to give it 110%. So that wasn't going to keep me out, that's for sure.
3 football games in 9 days, and now you got to rest to look ahead to Winnipeg. What do you see?
Well, I mean, we can't look at anything right now. We're gonna go on this win right now. We're gonna be happy tonight. We're gonna get in the film room tomorrow and get on those guys. I mean, they're a heck of a ball club. They've won the East. We know what they're capable of. So we just got to be able to go out there and stop those guys, and they got to be ready for us because we're on a roll right now.
Hamilton and Rob Hitchcock, 24-12 winners. They're going on to play the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the East Final. That's the story from Ivor-Wynne Stadium in Hamilton.
Thank you, Scott. Up next, the CFL Scrapbook with Don Whitman, and then we'll join the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Danny Barrett, and Toronto head coach Mike Clemens.
Maloney is the quarterback. He's going to pass.
CFL Scrapbook with Don Whitman. Brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns.
The kicking game in the CFL can produce some memorable and exciting moments. One of those moments occurred in the Western Final in 1972 between Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. With the score tied at 24, on the final play of the game, the Riders attempted what they thought would be the game-winning field goal. But Jack Abanchan's kick sailed wide. The Bombers booted it out of the end zone. Ron Lancaster kicked it back in. Again, the Bombers kicked the ball out of the end zone. But in the scramble for the loose football, the Bombers were called for no yards.
And given a second opportunity, Abenshan made no mistake. And the Riders were Grey Cup bound on the strength of their 27-24 win.
While the Riders won the West on a last-play field goal against Winnipeg, they lost the Grey Cup on a late field goal to Hamilton.
And as promised, Danny Barrett, Mike Clemens. Danny, very quickly, we talked earlier, Millington and Drummond, BC wanted to establish a running game early.
And they were able to do that. If you look at the tapes and everything, they were able to get the ball to Millington and Drummond. Both guys, the key here is they're going downhill, attacking the defense, and getting vertical, trying to get up the football field, moving the chains. And they had success doing that early in the game, and they need to continue to do that in the second half in order to keep the momentum going. You look here, as far as Millington just running over Freyers at the end of that run as well. He's a tough back.
All right, we've seen some running plays. Let's talk about special teams. At the beginning of this game, you talked about Antonio Warren.
Look, I should have warned him. BC, you should have took out a warrant for his arrest, because Antonio Warren is as exciting as it gets in the Canadian Football League this year. The way he returns punts, he's just electrifying. Watch him. He feels the punt, real patient. Now he sets up his blocks. He heads upfield, makes a nice move, comes back out the back end and around the corner. Look at him. He's running. He looks like he can almost go all the way, but great pursuit by BC eventually corrals him. But Antonio Warren is a difference maker in this ball game. That play changed the tempo of the football game.
All right, and now, speaking of tempo, the touchdown, Mark Bullrichter said they could go vertical when BC stacked that defensive line. That's exactly what he did on the pass from Crandall.
You know what? Bo knows he can go deep. The question was could Marcus Crandall deal with the rush of the BC Lions? That was the real question. Can he deal with the rush of the BC Lions? He obviously did that. He got enough time, and then hey, Bo knows he can get there. He's the big play guy. And look at the little move at the end. That's fashion.
All right, Danny sitting here was just shaking his head. Danny, you said to me one of the keys was when Alfred Jackson went out, but little did we think the replacement would be so effective. I'm talking about the Mel Long touchdown.
Exactly right. We were monitoring Alfred's situation. He caught one pass that opened and played the second half, and then his replacement comes into the game. Mel Long makes a great move at the line of scrimmage. Damon finds him, and right now that gives BC a lot of momentum. Damon answered the bell going into to Calgary's touchdown. Big momentum change for BC right now.
All right, got about 20 seconds. First from you, what does Calgary do in the second half?
They need to continue to protect the quarterback, don't get away from the run game, and capitalize on the big play like they did before.
What does BC do in the second?
Run the ball downhill. Stay with the run. Stay with the run. And when you get in trouble, stay with the run.
All right, it's halftime here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the Western semifinal. Mark Bullrichter has a touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders, but they trail the BC Lions. Chris Cuthbert and Chris Walby coming up with the second half, live from Calgary, right after this.
Big plays will often decide a playoff game. Wally, you had a couple in that first half.
Well, we had a couple, and it was good to see that. Obviously, with the kind of defense they play, they give you that opportunity, but they also make it tough for you.
You got to be pleased with the way your defense played.
Well, we were pleased. Like I say, I wasn't happy with the last drive, but we made a couple mistakes, and it cost us a touchdown.
Wally, good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
And so we're just about set to start the second half of this Western semifinal. Again, the winner advancing to the final next week at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. BC with a 5-point lead. Remember, there were a couple of missed field goals early in the game for the Lions. And Brett Anderson set to kick it off to the explosive Antonio Warren, but it's not going to get there. It'll be on the other side to Kelvin Anderson. And Anderson up to the 45 with the flag down on the play.
And a return of 14 yards. There is a penalty marker down.
Holding will march it back against the Stampeders as Marcus Crandall gets set to deal in the second half, and there are the 30-minute numbers.
Well, I mean, look at this stat right here. 120 yards rushing for BC. Only 32 for Calgary. And remember the big game last time they lost 34-16. We have to reiterate again. They ran for over 200 yards in that victory. They're well on their way to doing that again.
Wally Buono said if they're going to rush 30 times, we're going to concede 100 yards, but we can't allow it to be over 200. Well, they're on pace to even bettering the total of 2 weeks ago. But right now, it's Calgary on offense and a completion to start. That's Aubrey Cummings with the catch. And the flanker out of Acadia with some positive results on the opening play of the second half.
Well, nice job as we look at the comparison of the quarterbacks. Pretty similar numbers, both with a big touchdown late in that second quarter, and both buoyed by what they saw and hopefully made the right adjustments at the halftime in the locker room to come out and put some more points on the board for their offenses.
2nd and 4 after the 6-yard gain by Cummings from the shotgun and through the hands of the receiver Danielson. That's a bad drop, but maybe fortunate for Calgary, a flag was also dropped.
As you say, the ball was dropped and then the flag came late.
And it's going against the Stamps anyway.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 88, decline.
Well, they're going to call Vince Danielson with a push-off, basically being the aggressor on that play, trying to get some separation from the defensive back. But, I mean, this is not how you want to start coming out in the second half. Penalty on the opening return and a penalty right there. I mean, that's not good football.
Well, there was plenty of grumbling on press row about how conservative the Calgary attack was in the opening 30 minutes of football. 2 and out to start the second half. And O'Mani punts it away. Mel Long lets it bounce, and now he's going to have to go back to pick it up, and he's down inside the 20. Well, Long, without much experience back there returning punts, and he let that ball fall in front of him, and it rolled for a 54-yard punt.
That is a crucial mistake. The fact is, any rookie, when you got back there, your coach, you got to wonder sometimes because you're taught, do not let that ball bounce. Run up and catch it. Don't sit back there and play safe, because this is what's going to happen 9 out of 10 times, and he just lets the ball bounce. I mean, it gets away from him. Then he tries to scramble and pick up the ball. Now, he's very lucky because he touched that football, and a lot of times that ball will come away, and it'll be a fumble and a big play.
We had good audio down on the field, and you could hear the Lions bench telling him to not let it hit the turf. Backed up at the 20, and the Lions go to work. And that's Robert Drummond, stutter stepping and not much there.
Well, again, good job of penetration at the point of attack by the Stampeder defense, forcing Drummond to change direction to come to the backside. But unlike what happened earlier in the first half, they actually got off that. Now watch, look at it. They're all there. There's a ton of red shirts right there, not allowing Robert Drummond to go backside.
This Calgary defense was ranked last after 4 weeks of the season. They've really come together and are actually 2nd in yards allowed this year, still 7th in points. But they have strengthened as the year has gone on, and they come up big here. And it's 2 and out for the Lions as Geroy Simon is stuffed quickly by Deshaun Austin, who draws into the Calgary lineup with the injury to Pryor as the nickel back in the Calgary defensive package.
Well, absolutely. Comes back in on passing downs. He comes in, but what a nice job. Look at him. They're trying to get out there and block him. They're trying to get somebody on him to knock Deshaun Austin off the play, but he goes underneath. And, you know, talking to Wally Waddle, he really likes this kid. I mean, he got hurt in preseason, never an opportunity to showcase his talents. And I thought an interesting thing, he said, you know, if I had my druthers all over again, this kid be playing receiver.
Well, he is the fastest member of the Stampeders. Now Warren, also great speed, back to receive the punt of Martino. Camille Loud is also back. Calgary should get good field position, but a fine punt by Martino, backed up Loud. What a block there. Loud shakes one tackle across the 50 to the 52. 49-yard punt, 12-yard return, and Willie Fells did some damage on Bo Lewis with that block. .10 early third quarter here in the Western semifinal at McMahon Stadium. The Calgary Stampeders this season 1 win, 9 losses when trailing at the half. There's the outstanding rookie Baron Simpson as the Stamps go to work with Kelvin Anderson. hit hard off the left side. Bo Lewis stepped up to jar Anderson. We've had 2 touchdowns in this game, and they traded them in rapid fashion.
Well, absolutely. They got burned on the blitz. They brought the blitz. Bo Richter burned him, got behind Curtis Anderson, and of course, BC not to be undone beats a jam, a failed jam by Kelly Melville, and Mel Long wide open, taking it into the end zone.
2nd and 6 for the Stampeders, just across midfield. Crandall, Cummings, a catch and a fumble, and Baron Simpson's on the ball. Aubrey Cummings made the catch, but somehow Eric Carter jarred the ball loose.
Well, just a simple little slant pattern. They're going to bring the wide receiver, Aubrey Cummings, across the middle. Just get him in a slant, get him the ball quickly. Bam, the ball is there. Now he's going. As you say, he's working against Eric Carter. Eric Carter gets back in there and puts the paw on the football. Just grabs it. Aubrey Cummings coughs it up. And as you say, Mr. Everything for the BC defense, Baron Simpson, with a big fumble recovery.
So the turnover provides BC with the football at their own 40.
Now the second turnover for the Calgary Stampeders. First on offense, one other one on special teams.
And Damon Allen trying to make them pay quickly as he looks downfield, but one hops the pass to Denny Montana.
Well, it's a lucky thing at that it's a one-hop pass because, or one bounce pass, because Denny Montana, he's got a step on the coverage right there, and he's coming back in toward the goalpost. And if that ball's on the money, I think Denny Montana, who's got some great speed, is going to take this a while.
He's one of the fastest of the Lions, sometimes overlooked, but actually 3rd on the team in receiving this year with 620 yards receiving. Actually, Ryan Thelwell led the team. He's on the injury list right now. And there are Montana's numbers. It's 2nd and 10 for the Lions. Allen steps up and now delivers, receiver open, and it's G. Roy Simon with the catch.
Well, put him in a bind, baby, put him in a bind, and that's what Damon Allen does. The fact that he gets out there and he uses athletic ability to scramble, it puts the defensive backs and the coverage people in a bind. They don't know if they break off their coverage and come back, but it also buys him extra time. That's the biggest thing. He sits back there and allows G. Roy Simon to work it against William Fields to come across and make the play. You see the safety, Greg Frere, coming up. He's got to make the play on that. I mean, if you're going to let a guy catch the football, Greg, you got to punish him.
First down, and Joe Fleming wraps up Drummond for little or no gain. Actually, they'll rule it a loss of 2 as Fleming does the job. He's got the old school helmet too, doesn't put any air in the helmet. Fleming, and may have taken the air out of one of the Lions.
That looked like, is that the center? Jamie Terrace getting a look at, the 15-year veteran.
Just trying to confirm whether it is indeed Terrace.
Oh, no, it's Mantica.
Corey Mantica. Bill Rochelle out to attend to the right tackle on the BC Lions offensive line. Let's revisit your keys as Ben Fairbrother comes in to take Mantica's spot.
Well, we talked about earlier about the receivers having to compete for the football. Being very impressed with that. The coming back to the football, of course, it's highlighted by Mel Long's 41-yard touchdown catch on defense, shutting down Calvin Anderson. I mean, that's it right there. 27 yards rushing. For Calgary, burn the blitz. Well, we talked about it. You got to get it away. Can Crandall find the guy? He did on this play. Hit Bo Richter for a 69-yard touchdown. Forced Damon Allen to pass. Well, Allen has had a good day passing the football, 10 of 15, 180 yards, but he's also scrambled. And that's the thing that he does so well that puts the defense in a bind.
But this formation, that power I, now 3 go in motion to the right side. And Allen rolling to the right, in trouble, throwing the ball, and we're going to get a pass interference. There was some bumping down there, and Fells is upset because he was going after the football.
Well, that's exactly it, Chris. You're exactly right. Fells was going for the football, but he also lost sight of where the receiver was and ran over the receiver in an attempt to get the ball.
Jimmy Oliver was in triple coverage, but he got bumped on the play, and the flag is thrown. And so a 2nd and 12 is
Forward
converted.
pass interference. Calgary, number 39. First down.
Well, I mean, it's a different play, as you say, starting out in the I, back in the slide, everybody to the right. I mean, it's a different thing, but as they come over, I mean, they're just going to go over when the ball is thrown. You can see Damon Allen's going to put it over there, and over here, he's just going to try to get to the football. They called the wrong number because that actually is Ricky Bell, number 26. A little overzealous to try and get that football.
Well, in any event, Phil said, it wasn't me, but everybody wants to blame him after the comments from 2 weeks ago.
He's not very well liked.
First down, BC. Allen's going to roll right again, steps up and throws, and misses the intended target, G. Roy Simon.
Well, he misses the intended target, G. Roy Simon, on his play action pass. But I really like the way Damon is moving out there. He's moving crisp. Play action, gets out there, sets his feet, bam, and he throws that football. He knows where he's going. The decision-making process is right on right now. G. Roy is going to work, come out, and then take it to the corner, take it to the side right there. Working against Ricky Bell with the ball just a little too far ahead of him.
G. Roy Simon, part of the explosive bomb squad receiving corps in Winnipeg last year. 2nd and 10 for the Lions, and they give the ball to Drummond, and Robert Drummond on second effort gets close to the first down. Boy, he looked like he was stopped 5 yards short.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what, you hit it on the head. Second effort. They're going to go double tight end again. That's all they're going to do. They're going to have 6 guys up there. Got a guy right here and a guy on the top of your screen. That spreads out the defense. Now, he hits that hole. He actually runs into his own man, and that's what happens, but he still keeps his feet going. What a horse.
Stretches the chains, and he's got it by the nose of the football. So Steve Barato's team capitalizing on a 2nd and 10 on the ground.
Let's hear you.
And again, he has said they've gotten away from the run in second halves this year. That was a big conversion on the ground. Keeping a promising drive alive and adding to the BC Lions rushing totals. First down from the Calgary 20. And again, Drummond pounding down near the 16.
And in all that massive humanity and flesh flying around there, he's still picking up 4 to 5 yards a carry. I mean, you got guys here, just another double tight again, and that's all they're going to do. Spread it out. That allows the offensive lineman to know exactly who he's got to block. There's no middle linebacker there.
Drummond 6th in the league in rushing with 809 yards. His counterpart, Millington, 7th with 804 yards. 2nd and 7. Allen short drop. There's Simon, close to another first down. He's got it. And they're inside the 10, 1st and goal.
Well, from a team that supposedly has so much disarray in it, they sure look like they're on the same page right now. I mean, he's mixing it up so wonderfully right now. Again, G. Roy Simon, who hasn't been used in this offense, is starting to make a presence felt here. Little swing out, just gets another dump pass and reaches for their first down, and he's fired up.
Simon has been the go-to guy this afternoon for Damon Allen. Under 7 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. This drive started at the BC 40. It's now 1st and goal from the 9. Give to Drummond right side, and he stopped a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and Otis Floyd did the job.
As you say, a nice job of penetration by the point of attack by the defensive lineman. Robert Drummond is going to get us. Just going to be off tackle to the right side. See Mike Moore brought in as a tight end situation. Robert Drummond has to find a hole in that play. There was none to be found, and Otis Floyd with the tackle.
Well, we talked about Calgary this year being ineffective in the red zone. Today, the Lions have been down in this neighborhood a few times without any success. 9th play of the drive. And Allen is dropped back at the 20. Ball loose. Is it a live football? I think they're marking it at the 20.
Well, I think they're going to say the ground caused the fumble. But boy, you see the crowd get excited on that play. Just a little play action. Coming to look to come back to sit on the left side of that offensive line. Just fake it, little play. Come over to the left, try and set up right now. And the rush, good penetration. Clinton, Wayne, Jacobs, Fleming, all in the backfield right there. And ball comes loose, very lucky.
So instead, they'll have to settle for this Kellett field goal attempt, and he misses another. His third miss of the day. Greg Ferris will gladly let that one skip off his fingertips for a single point. And Steve Barato's team has dominated, but they're letting the Stampeders hang around. Promising drives snuffed. 1 point for the Lions. Damon Allen, I thought, fumbled the football, but let's give the officials credit. Watch the left knee.
Well, as you say, just scrambles, and right there, you see the left knee right there? It's on the ground. The ball is still in his possession. Now the ball comes loose. Good call by the referee.
And could have been a bigger call had the Lions pushed that through for 3.
Vince Danielson, number 88.
Vince Danielson, a catch for Calgary, still within a converted touchdown of the lead.
Well, that's the biggest thing. I mean, you're talking about a difference between this run and last year's run. What's the big difference? I'll tell you the first name that comes to mind, Louis Pasaglia. Because I guarantee you, that old kicker, you know, I mean, he'd scrape off the cobwebs, but I tell you what, he didn't miss many kicks.
No, not in the big games, and Matt Kellett, in his first postseason game, has struggled. Here's Kelvin Anderson, high stepping in the Lions territory with his biggest run of the day.
You have got to get him involved. If you're not going to use this guy, you deserve to lose the football game. Give him the football. He's going to break a couple. Nice job, Reginbald, the fullback, getting a block, the offensive lineman. Nice job. Benefield can't get him. Now he hops. Watch, he's going to duck under the next tackler. He's trying to duck. He's doing whatever he can do to pick up positive yardage.
18 yards on that carry to improve his stats. Just 45 on the day. This time Benefield rides
Anderson gets the carry again, number 32.
His back and is dragged for a couple hard-earned yards.
56.
Well,
he does fall forward
came up a little short. Benefield did on the last play. He wasn't going to do it 2 times in a row, and he flows down that line and makes the play and wraps up Kelvin Anderson. Just going to be a little off tackle to the left. You see 56 flying down the line from his outside rush position, making the play.
7 times a 100-yard rusher this year, twice against Benefield and the Lions. And it's 2nd and 8. Good time for Crandall, and Aubrey Cummings drops the ball. That one put a dent in the 8 and the 7, and it's been a tough third quarter for the Acadia grad.
Well, I tell you what, this is unbelievable. I mean, the biggest thing is BC is going to line up everybody on the line of scrimmage. Then they're going to drop everybody. When they drop everybody, that's to confuse Marcus Crandall. Now he throws it just past the outstretched hands of a 56, David Benefield, Mike Fletcher, and of course, do you think he pays a price? Watch this after he throws it. This is a late hit. Cameron Legault, you're a lucky fellow right there, buddy, because that should be a flag.
Mel Long and G. Simon are deep as O'Mani gets set to punt. Check that Mike Fletcher now in the game on punt returns, but it will be Long from his 4. Had to squeeze it a little harder to make sure he had it, and then gets swarmed. 44-yard punt, just 1 on the return as Travis Moore tries to pick up Aubrey Cummings.
Kelly Lockbaugh,
BC Lions backed up inside their 5 with a 6-point lead and 3:16 left on the clock in the third quarter. And the fans making noise at McMahon. Here's Millington, right side, big hole, and a big first down for Sean Millington.
Well, I tell you what, James Cotton can't let him get to the outside. He does as we take a look at the capitalizing on turnovers today. 2 turnovers, only 2 points put on by the BC Lions.
That may come back to haunt them, as might 3 missed field goals. First down up at the 16-yard line. And they'll give it back to Millington this time. Nothing doing. Chris, it's interesting. The first 14 first down plays by the Lions netted 92 yards. So 6.5, 7 yards on first down. Very productive. Before the Millington 12-yard carry, they had 5 yards total in their next 11 first down plays. So Calgary's done a better job against the first down since the opening couple of drives.
Well, you know what? You're going to have to do that, because anytime you let the offense get into second and short situation where you can either run or throw, that puts you in a double bind.
Sean Millington closing in on a 100-yard game. Here's Allen, that little pump down the sidelines, and incomplete, intended for Drummond. And Robert Drummond, well, he might have been shaken up, but he bounces up. He's all right. That's a play we saw back in his Baltimore Stallion days. He's a dangerous guy out there on that sideline.
Well, he's dangerous running the football, and he's dangerous as a receiver. They love to get him in certain matchups. I mean, obviously he's going against a well-seasoned guy that can cover on that play, but again, good job of the secondary of the Stampeders not biting on the pump fake.
So it's third down BC, and Calgary poised to get the ball in great field position. And the former Stampeder Tony Martino rushed the kick. It'll be Loud at midfield, got a block, and is down at the 45. So in this third quarter, Calgary enjoying better field position as they get set to go to work.
Tony Martino.
Use your Canadian Tire credit card when you run in, and you'll run out with 20% more Canadian Tire money on the card. It pays to use the card.
Just a 37-yard Martino punt, 10 on the return by Loud. Calgary at BC's 45, trying to cut into this 6-point Lion lead. Two-step drop, long out. They go back to Aubrey Cummings, and Cummings down to the 32-yard line, and he'll celebrate that. He's back in the ball game.
Well, that's a sign of confidence by your quarterback after you cough the football up and fumble it to come right back to you. But they like Aubrey Cummings. Why? Because after he catches the football, he's dangerous. He does good things after he catches the football. Now, he sits back there. I would really like to see him come toward the football on that play and not allow Eric Carter to have a chance to pick off that one.
13 for AC. It's a first down for the Stampeders, and Kelvin Anderson goes to work. Bo Lewis stepped up again and limits the damage.
Well, Bo Lewis makes the stuff, but I tell you what, it's the guys in the interior of that line, Cantner and Legault, to do the job, because he initially wants to go right up the gut, has to bounce it to the outside. Now, when you bounce it to the outside on this BC defense, there's always some guys out there, and on this play, 17, Bo Lewis is up there to make the stuff.
George Cortez, the offensive coordinator, sending in the plays. What's he got cooking on 2nd and 6? Anderson out of the backfield, 6 receivers, and a wide open man over the middle. Kamau Peterson, the fine rookie, stepped in front of Eric Carter and has a huge first down on the final play of the third quarter. It's a 6-point BC lead, but Calgary's knocking at the door. 3-quarter time at McMahon. Windsor native with a bright future, Kamau Peterson, 12 catches in the final 2 weeks and a big 20-yarder here.
These guys right here, the Simpson and the outside linebacker, are going to both drop out of there. Now, that only means there's a 4-man rush. It's to confuse Crandall. He's not confused at all. Kamau Peterson comes inside the middle behind the dropping linebackers. Nice job execution by Crandall and a good read by Kamau Peterson.
National triple jump record holder in high school. He has a 41-inch vertical, 4.3 speed. And now Calgary knocks at the door. 1st and goal from the 7. And again, Anderson, the quick hitter up the middle, And he's down to the 4, a little more productive than the last time they knocked at BC's door.
Still a little bit of stutter step. I mean, obviously BC's defensive line is doing the job of stalemating at the line of scrimmage. This is causing Calvin Anderson not to hit it at full go. He's got a stutter step. You want him to hit that thing right now. 21 is going to go right through. He's got to get the block. Now watch as he goes through there. You got to hit that. I mean, it's hard for me as an offensive lineman to tell a star running back what to do, but it looked like he kind of hesitated when he had a hole right there, Chris.
Once again, you are defending the offensive line in the heat of battle, and it's 2nd and goal from the 4. Crandall will throw into the end zone. Vince Danielson, touchdown! As you can see, it's Mark Boerichter, and he's got his 2nd of the day.
Well, absolutely, Chris. And your defense, those 89s and 89s are a tight group, so you could have called either one of them because they're both capable of making big plays. But that's the 2nd time Mark Boerichter has taken advantage of the coverage by Curtis Anderson, this time taking him to the corner. And the ball again thrown right where it has to be. And Mark Boerichter with a great catch. Look at that, right in your living room. Great job of concentration, keeping the feet in, and a big play for the Calgary Stampeder offense.
Protecting it against his body and illustrating why 10 NFL teams are fighting over his rights next year. Big Bo has done it again, and that's his 2nd of the game.
Well, you can see right there, he's just going to go take a couple steps straight and take it to the corner. He puts Anderson in a chase position the whole way, but you got to give Crandall credit for this. This is a beautifully thrown football. He sits back there and just lobs it. Look at the arc. That is a beautiful arc to come down to the outstretched hands, the waiting hands of Mark Boerichter.
Well, he's been working on that celebration in recent weeks. Now 13 touchdowns on the year for big Mark Boerichter.
Good job.
Held to just 3 catches and 30 yards 2 weeks ago against BC, but they've turned him loose for a couple of major scores here this afternoon. We've had our 4th lead change of the day.
Well, absolutely, but you gotta like the fact that, you know, Calgary, they run the ball to Anderson, they get a couple yards, right? But then they say, you know what? We're just going to go after you. We're not going to play passive. And they do a nice job. And, I mean, who wouldn't want to throw to a guy this tall, that's got the ability of this guy, 11 touchdowns coming into the game? I mean, I'd go after this guy all day.
And you're right about Crandall. The young guy is battling one of the great gunslingers in CFL history, and they're trading punches here. Here's G-Roy Simon. This time a little extra before he's finally brought down. But remember, the last time Calgary scored a touchdown, what did Damon Allen do?
Well, absolutely. He came in right down, hit Mel Long for a touchdown to answer it. But let's take a look how this drive transpired. I mean, right down there, and it started with Aubrey Cummings making a nice catch, breaking into the middle and picking up good yardage. Then he sits back there and hits Kamal Peterson over the middle. And I tell you what, the fans are getting excited. And then, of course, topped off with a beautifully thrown ball to Mark Boerichter in the corner of the end zone.
Once you're close, I mean, you're close to that guy.
Matt Barnes,
That was a great place. They're both going to catch him.
backup quarterback, congratulating Crandall. Minute and a half into the 4th quarter. And back to work goes Millington.
Number 25, John Millington with the carry.
Willie Fells stopping the running back of the Lions.
Well, they make the stuff, but I tell you what, not until he picks up 5 yards again. It's just a matter of, look at the surge and the backside of cutting. I mean, look at it. He's not hit till he's 5 yards. Where he's hit, he's brought down, and that's a good job by the defense. But if you're a defensive coach and you look at that in game film, you're saying, hey, that's great, we made the play. But we want to make that 5 yards earlier at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 5, McMahon revved up. Allen to the sidelines, no catch, as Robert Drummond had Otis Floyd all over his back. Now wait a minute, they are going to rule it a catch.
Well, this will be interesting, as you say, Chris. Wow. It looked like it came out, but...
Well, they're ruling that the ground jarred the ball loose, but the play then was dead. And it will be close to a first down, and the fans are letting the officials hear about that.
Well, you can take a look. I mean, it's just a pass to Drummond. He's got the ball. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have control of that football.
Well, they're close to a yard short. Steve Barato's got a tough decision to make after that questionable call.
Well, definitely questionable. I mean, he didn't have control of that football. The ball came loose. I thought one of the referee, we both said we thought it was going to be waved off as incomplete. Very surprised that the referee right there with the best angle called it a catch.
Barato is in a gambling mood. It's about 2 feet away from a first down. And at their 43, the Lions will gamble. Time to stack it up. Allen, not much on the initial surge, but again, he only needed 2 feet.
Well, I really think it's really hard. And
look who's at the bottom of the pile.
Well, Joe Fleming is there, and that's no surprise. But I'll tell you right now, when you have this amount of humanity in front of you, and you only have less than a yard to go, you basically should hang your head in shame if you can't make it. I mean, look at Jamie Terrace fighting to go is right there. Manteca down there. I mean, this is great. Look at the helmet. This is the great angle right here, people. It's getting a helmet under a helmet. And the person that stays lower and keeps the legs driving usually will win that battle.
Well, just watching that replay, notice you broke into a cold sweat.
I'm tearing the sleeves off my shirt here because I want to get out there now.
Well, the drive has been prolonged by the gamble and the call. And now Millington swarmed behind the line of scrimmage. Alondra Johnson and the posse.
Well, Alondra Johnson does it, but hey, I mean, we've mentioned this fella before, number 84, Ray Jacobs. This is what you teach them. You teach them. Turn it back in so the rest of your team can pick it up. And Ray Jacobs does a great job again of forcing Millington to come back. See, he's got to stop. Look who's there. 84 is right there. He forces him in, and the rest of his partners come down and lasso him down. That's exactly how you play team defense.
So it's 2nd and 10. From the 45, Alfred Jackson's check back in for BC. Allen in some trouble, escapes, throws, and it's a completion to Alfred Jackson. Oh, the escape artist, Damon Allen, does it again.
Well, he didn't pull a rabbit out of his hat. He just pulled a big play out of his hat on this play. I mean, Calgary's only going to rush 3. There's Malvo doing a little hand checking, watching Jackson all the way. He's not even losing sight of him. He's watching Jackson. Now, Jackson sees. And that's just great concentration, not only of making the catch, but it's the fact, Chris, did you see he had his feet, and he actually slid his feet and kept them in bounds on the catch.
Had a 4-touchdown game against Montreal earlier this year. Seen limited duty today because of the tendinitis, but 2 big catches and a first down for the Lions, and there's a completion. Quick out to Jimmy Oliver, brought down by Kelly Malvo.
Well, I think, you know what, if you're going to be successful against Damon Allen, you can't get cute. You can't rush 3 guys. He has too much time. He'll sit back there, and he'll scramble on you. And, I mean, that was a play that'll come back. But if you bring 4 people now they're going to rush everybody. You can see here's the 4 guys. Everybody's coming now. That's what you want. You want to rush the quarterback. Now, they do a good job, BC's offensive line does, of giving him time and a nice, crisp throw by Damon Allen to Jimmy Oliver.
Well, on one hand, the BC Lions, of course, they're playing their 3rd game in 9 days, but on the other hand, this is their best quarter of the year where they've dominated in the 4th quarter.
They don't even know they played 3 games in 9 days. The adrenaline is up high right now.
Certainly didn't affect Hamilton earlier today. And we've got a procedure call. And it's going, of course, against the Lions.
Absolutely. Looks like the right side. Maybe more than one culprit on this play, but definitely.
Procedure. BC 59. First down repeated.
Well, right guard Craig Hendrickson jumping the gun on that play.
Not the way he wanted to cue us up to mention that this is his final playoff run. Craig will retire at the end of this year after 11 years. And, of course, that emotional Grey Cup win last season.
Well, and I asked him why he's retiring, and he said because he hurt his ankle playing walk football. And that is a sign that you're getting a little old.
1st and 15, and look at Damon Allen pull it down, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe a yard to spare.
Well, this is a situation. This is what causes any defense that plays Damon Allen problems. See, a linebacker, Alondra Johnson, will drop into coverage. They get rushing 4 guys. Damon Allen sees there's nothing there. He tucks it down and gets and finds and scoots and finds an opening. And of course, what it does now, by the time he gets hit, he's picked up 4 or 5 yards. I mean, look at that. There's nobody there. Now the middle linebacker's got to come back into play. There he is, Alondra Johnson and Otis Floyd.
Lawrence Deck has checked in as an extra DB on 2nd and 9. Allen looking downfield. Malvo got a hand on it and made the play. Alfred Jackson, the intended receiver. Kelly Malvo's had a tough day, but he's hanging in.
Well, I'm going to tell you what he did that he didn't do the last time. The last time he lost sight of not only the receiver, but the football. This time he turns back. One-on-one coverage. He sees Alfred Jackson. Now, actually, just now, he looks for the football. Now, as he goes to hit it, he's a free man. He can fight for that football. That's a great job by Kelly Malvo, giving him a chance, an opportunity to play that ball.
Matt Kellett back in to attempt a 47-yarder so BC can regain the lead. And Kellett off the upright and in, so he's made his 2 longest attempts.
It's good.
Well, that'll give him a better feeling. Wonder if he called that shot. A bank shot to give BC the lead, 19-17. Well, it's been an interesting afternoon as the lead keeps changing back and forth, and now back in BC's hands. Matt Kellett with a couple of 40-yard plus field goals to balance off 3 misses from closer in. And again, Anderson will give it to Warren. And Antonio Warren always seems to find a seam and close to the 40-yard line.
Absolutely, and when you think about it, you're saying, hey, Calvin Anderson's a pretty tough guy to bring down himself when he catches the football, but that's how much respect he has for Antonio Warren. He says, hey, you take the ball and we'll take whatever you give us.
Proud to be official sponsor of today's Western Semi.
Defensive line coach Jim Daly talking to the front of the Calgary defense as the offense goes back to work. 8.5 minutes left, 4th quarter. Little pump, Kamal Peterson tackled by Cedric Curry, who was beaten on the play and may have wisely taken that flag.
Well, that looked like me trying to hang on to my last sandwich, but I'm telling you right now, Richter had this guy beat so bad that the only thing he could do, Cedric Curry just grabbed him and pulled him down. I mean, Kamal Peterson actually on that side, but I mean, what a
passing
move.
interference. BC number 3, first down.
Curry did not want to get a backside look at the 4.3 speed of Peterson.
Well, he did a nice job. I mean, bit on the pump fake. Look at that stop and go, a little stop and go. And, I mean, Curry realizes he's burnt, he's toast, and he reaches out and tackles him.
Ball at the 53, first down Calgary, trailing by 2. Kelvin Anderson drilled. Noah Cantor with first contact, and the other great Canadian defensive tackle in the Lions front 4, Cameron Legault, finishes him off.
Well, nice job of both interior tackles. Cantor, we see Barron Simpson right there. Man who led the league in tackles. Look how he slides under there, but a nice job of Regenbald of blocking him. But that's one man, and he left the other 2 tackles free. And boy, who comes through, as you say? Cantor and Legault.
Anderson credited with 2 yards.
2 yards for Anderson. The ball at midfield. It's 2nd and 8. Legault, the top Canadian this year on the Lions. Shotgun Crandall. Kelvin Anderson hit by Bo Lewis short of the first down. Boy, Kelvin was exposed there, and that Lewis was really going to tear him apart.
Well, I tell you what, they wanted to get the ball to Calvin Anderson, but there's some people that were in the receiving corps of the Stampeders were not happy. Vince Danielson felt he was open. A lot of guys want us to go, they say, let's go vertical. Don't go side to side. That's an outlet pass. You understand that you're always going to have a linebacker, Bo Lewis, in that play. But we've been getting success when we're getting the one-on-one and we're going vertically down the football field. That's something you don't want to get away from. Don't start changing stuff and playing safe. When you play aggressive football, things happen.
39-93. O'Mani in the punt, Mel Long and Mike Fletcher back near their 5-yard line. Mel Long's been a bit of an adventure on a couple of these punt returns today, but this will be Fletcher. Off him, live football. Who's got it? Calgary, perhaps optimistically, signaling they've got it.
Well, you always love to see this when the ball is loose, because right now it becomes who's the strongest guy, who's got those hands of steel that can rip the football and hold it.
And it looks like Mike Fletcher, in desperation, reclaimed the football. 43-yard punt, and some of these punts have been adventures for the Lions. Mike Fletcher to the bench to beg forgiveness from the coach after misplaying that punt. And I put a little heat on Mel Long, who came up with the recovery, so good job for Long to keep it in BC's hands, but deep. Allen play action. Trying to stretch this defense, and the ball in and out of the hands of Robert Drummond. Well, let's take another look at the misplayed punt return.
Well, you know what? That's what happens when the ball bounces. We just talked about that earlier. Never let the ball bounce. The ball bounces, comes out of his hands, and just as you can see right underneath the pile, number 83, Mel Long, very fortunate to grab, pull it in. That's just excellent camera work from the boys down there showing us that replay.
Under 7 minutes to play, 5 lead changes in the game. It's a 2-point BC advantage in 2nd and 10, and again, the home side being urged on. Allen in the flat, nearly picked off. Kelly Malvo knocked it away. That pass may have been closer to Malvo than Long.
Well, it was definitely, but you know what? Kelly Malvo said, you know what? I'm not taking any chances. I'm not going to play anybody but the receiver. It almost looks like the ball hits him on that play. Just going to work a little bit of magic, kind of come to the outside right now. Now he's got it, but the ball's behind him. As the ball goes behind him, Kelly Malvo doesn't even look at the football. All he's doing, remember, he's had to work part of this game against Alfred Jackson. And Mel Long has 1 touchdown on a missed jam by that man, Kelly Malvo. So Malvo says, you're not out of my sight no matter where you go.
Well, it's a 2-point game. You wonder about a 2-point safety. Otherwise, Calgary's going to get great field position. Martino will kick it away. Nice punt. Warren at his 48. Steps over midfield. And now down to the BC 50-yard line. 54-yard punt by the former Stamp. And Warren brings it back 9, but Calgary is in great shape.
Use your Canadian Tire credit card when you run in, and you'll run out with 20% more Canadian Tire money on the card. It pays to use the card.
So Calgary goes back to work on offense at the BC 50. 5:55 left on the clock in the 4th quarter. Crandall, the short drop, and that's Vince Danielson with the catch, and tossed out of bounds by Curtis Anderson.
Well, this is strictly a timing pattern. All he's going to do is take a step back and throw to where he feels Danielson will be. Danielson takes his man up, and he's just going to work out to the sideline. As he turns, there's a football. That's exactly how you want to run it. I mean, that gives the defender, Curtis Anderson, no chance to stop that play.
You know, yesterday he was saying, you don't remember the regular season games. You remember all the playoff games, and he ran through some of the great moments here during the 90s, and this is another one that they're going to remember, I think. 2nd and 3, and Warren, first contact was short. He rolled a little further forward, but still, it's going to be 3rd and 1, maybe 3rd and 2.
Well, this is a situation where of course, I never want to question a coach, but I'm saying to myself, I have a back who rushes for 1,383 yards. Why, in a 2nd and short situation, is not Kelvin Anderson carrying the load? Nothing against Antonio Warren. He's got a great future, but...
And on third down, in comes Scott Dybert and some of the big boys. They're going to go for it on third and a full yard. I thought you were going to tell me this is when you turn to Cal Murphy and say, Cal, leave the place kicker on the sidelines. We're going. You made all those calls, didn't you?
Well, 90% of them.
Here we go. 4 receivers out to the left side, and maybe they weren't gambling. Maybe they were just trying to draw the Lions offside.
Well, what I thought was interesting as we see this the situation unfold is as the 4 receivers the group went to the wide side of the field, nobody from BC really followed them. And of course, everybody in this scrum right there is a lawyer, all presenting their case.
And apparently there was no call. And now Calgary sending in a different set. 3 guys get partway in.
But if you see on that replay, nobody even came over with the guys that ran over.
I think Calgary's had to take a timeout, Chris. They reset the football, and suddenly 3 Stamps ran onto the field, and all of a sudden they had 15 men on the field and didn't have time to get anybody off. And now Wally has a little longer to think about this gamble. Well, they must have been trying to draw BC offside, because you're not going to sneak for a yard here, I don't think.
Well, I'm still befuddled by the fact that they sent 4 people to the wide side of the field and nobody from BC responded. They'd never seen that formation before.
Now we've got a different formation, and again, 4 out of the backfield go to the left side. They are going to sneak for the first down, and pardon me, they're going to do it with plenty to spare.
Well, how about that? Now, if you're BC and you're defensive right now and you're looking at this play and you're saying, here they come, all 4 guys. Hey, you know what? They're very lucky because they got a chance to see that the prior play. So this time when they sent the 4 guys over, they adjusted to it. So look, you see this big group of guys all over here. They're coming to the wide side of the field. That takes some of the guys out of the middle. So when they sneak the football, Chris, they have less people to go through to pick up that first down.
Well, full marks to Jamie Crysdale, David Heisman, and Jay McNeil, the double nominee for the Calgary Stampeders. First down. Crandall's pass batted down. I think that's the 3rd tip at the line in this game, and Herm Smith's got another one.
I might have to get some tissue paper up here because I got tears in my eyes, because it's a thing of beauty, Chris, when you start talking about the offensive line. I've been working on you for a long time, and you're starting to come around,
yes,
son.
The propaganda is starting to work. Clock running under 4 minutes to go. Again, 5 lead changes in the game, and a 2-point BC lead is precarious. They're in Mark McLaughlin territory. 2nd and 10. Crandall in trouble, ducks away, and throws complete. Aubrey Cummings at the 26 has a first down.
Well, Marcus Crandall reaches in his hat and pulls out a little Damon Allen magic of his own by avoiding the sack. Normally he would go down. He does a nice job of spinning out of this, getting outside. What great presence of mind to find Aubrey Cummings. I mean, what? Here comes the pressure. That's David Benefield, 56. He's down. No, he's not down, people. He gets to the outside, and a nice job of finding Aubrey Cummings, who comes up with a catch, and the drive stays alive.
Marcus Crandall perhaps coming of age, but a lot of work still to be done. Under 3 minutes to go now. 1st and 10. Again, the short drop and that fade pattern, and Cummings held up. Eric Carter draws the flag, and the Calgary Stampeders are knocking at the door.
Well, they are, and they are fired up. The fans are fired up. And the biggest thing, we talked about this earlier, forget the sideline to sideline garbage. Go deep, young man, and what happens? They go deep, and big things happen, and we got a pass interference call on the play. Well, they go deep, they try and go back. It's a battle of the seas. It's Cummings against Carter, and right there you can see, there it is right there, a little hand on the back, little push. As a result, the flag is thrown, and Calgary is going to get great field position on the 8-yard line.
Veteran Eric Carter flagged, 1st and goal. Calgary looking for the lead and a little bit more. Anderson Down near the 4-yard line, and again, each time they get inside the 10, that's the first number they've called today.
Well, absolutely, to give Calvin Anderson the ball, and he gets it down much, you know, almost reminiscent of the same thing we had before, because remember, the last time they gave Calvin Anderson the ball, he takes it down, and then what did they do? We thought they were going to run the ball, and they threw the little corner pass to Bo Richter.
Calgary making, or check that, BC making a lot of changes on that defense to bulk up along the line. 2nd and goal from the 4, and again those 4 go out of the backfield to the left side. Crandall short drop in the end zone. Touchdown! How about that? Mark Pilon. Oh, a little razzle-dazzle from George Cortez.
Well, razzle-dazzle this, my friend. The fact is that Marcus Crandall does an excellent job of avoiding this play because he rightly is on his back. He finds the tight end who's just in there for blocking, but he is an eligible receiver. And he gets down there, and boy, I tell you what, number 93, you can see him right there. He's just going to slip away from the block. Nobody picks him up. Hey, because nobody expects him to catch the football. But a nice job, again, of the presence of mind, and we've seen this a number of times in the second half, by Marcus Crandall, avoiding the rush, the would-be takedown, and making a big play.
Pilon with undoubtedly his first touchdown catch in the Canadian Football League, and now they go for 2. It's 23-19 as Crandall steps back, dumps it off Anderson, and it's now 25-19, a 6-point Calgary lead.
Well, we got to give credit where credit is due, and I tell you what, Marcus Crandall, you came out and said you're going to have a career game today. Well, right now, son, you are backing it up. You are playing well. You are making great decisions, and you are holding on. You're patient. You're taking what the defense has given you, and you're doing a nice job of finding that ball, getting it to Calvin Anderson, who does the rest by taking it in for a very important 2-point conversion.
Well, let's take one more look at this touchdown. Mark Pilon looked like he was breathing a sigh of relief that he was able to squeeze that baby.
Here comes the motion, tries control again.
Well, I tell you what, he sees that, it looks like a pinhead. But of course, look at that, the pressure's right there. Little swing pass to Calvin Anderson, he takes it in, and boy, excitement. Let's take a look.
Well, George Cortez cooked up that touchdown, but it's just a 6-point lead, and 2:08 to go. The Lions have plenty of time. Are you playing for the Bombers? Is that their suggestion?
I'm telling you, I just hope Santa there brings me some good gifts.
Well, they've got to worry about 2 minutes and 8 seconds of BC Lions, and then if they can hold this lead, they still got to go through Edmonton.
Well, this is what is so exciting, Chris. Remember, the guy that's going to be orchestrating the BC comeback is none other than the Magic Man again, Damon Allen.
G. Simon. Up across the 35. Let's take another look at the drive that produces the 6th lead change of the day.
Well, I just love the play selection. I mean, what a gutsy call. Nice job. 3rd and a bunch picks it up, and of course then the scramble to find Aubrey Cummings. Then after the pass interference called, they get some move down. Anderson takes it, and of course a little tight end catch by Mark Pilon, who just turns around in time to catch that football.
6'5", 265, and hands like butter.
Hands like butter. You know, he makes a touchdown, he's going to get all the girls now.
Damon Allen back to work. And Brett Anderson can't pull in that ball, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, nice job of coverage as well by Deshaun Austin, who stays with him. Ball should rightly have been caught by Brett Anderson, though, and that's what Damon Allen wants. He wants his receivers to give him every opportunity. That means come up with those catches.
Now BC goes no huddle. Danielson congratulating Crandall, but the game is on. And here's a 2nd and 10 throw by Allen deep for Alfred Jackson. And the ball falls incomplete. And what hand-to-hand combat downfield.
I got to tell you what, I don't know if we can show the referee, but Melville working one-on-one, as you say, a lot of contact with Alfred Jackson. At the end of that play, I swear the referee looked like he was reaching to grab a flag. He couldn't find it and decided not to make the call. Now, there's a lot of contact right there. Now, watch the referee. Watch his hand. Now, he's reaching behind him right there, looking to throw the flag. Baby, I'll tell you, eyes like a hawk.
I'll tell you what, Kelly Malvo has stepped up in this second half, and Steve Barato's team down to their last play. 3rd and 10. Allen, incomplete. Intended for Mel Long, and the Lions have turned it over on downs. And the Stampeders are 145 away. And again, Kelly Malvo providing coverage. And the defending champions are at the edge of the cliff.
Well, Calgary, who started so slowly today, didn't look like they had it, and all of a sudden offensively, Crandall and a whole bunch got up. But you got to give credit to the defense. They have answered the bell. Kelly Malvo has been tested time and time again. I mean, it's just a nice job. Sitting there again, they're looking to work on him. There's Mel Long, number 83. He's coming back again. Questionable, little contact ahead of the play on Mel Long. That could have been a flag. Doesn't go the way. They give up the ball, and now Calgary takes over the ball with 1:45 left in this football game.
In hockey, we say it's Hudson Bay rules, no blood, no foul, and that's the way it seems to be here. Minute 45 to go. The Lions do have a timeout. Scott Dybert, the former Calgary Colt, with a rare carry, plunging forward for a yard or two.
No gain.
And remember, the Lions still should get, or could get, the ball back.
Well, you know, my philosophy has always been bury your opponent. Don't even give him a sniff back. Don't even give Damon Allen and that offense at BC a chance again. Don't play conservative. Go after him. If you're running back as Calvin Anderson, if it's Antonio Warren, I don't care who it is, you got to give it to him. I understand they want to give everybody a chance to carry the football, but not now.
It is a 6-point lead, and they are in Mark McLaughlin field goal range. Right now, it would be a 43-yard attempt. They'd like to make it a little easier. And there's Calvin Anderson down to the 30, and he almost shook that for a first down carry. But now, Q McLaughlin to make it a 9-point game with just over a minute to play.
Well, absolutely. Just going to go off tackle to the right-hand side. Everybody's lined up. He just stutter steps and finds the opening right side, comes in there. Bo Lewis, 17, hanging on for dear life. But as you say, not before Calvin Anderson picks up 7 yards, making it a shorter field goal attempt by Mark McLaughlin.
So it's 3rd and 4 Calgary at the BC 31.
And now you look back at those 3 missed field goals earlier.
It's on the hold. Doesn't run to the ball snap.
Mark McLaughlin, the hero of that Grey Cup win in Winnipeg. 73.7% on this season.
Pat Barnes will hold. Mark McLaughlin will attempt a 38-yard
Pat Barnes is the holder. And this to pretty well put it out of reach from 38 yards. And it's good. Just inside that right upright. The veteran's done it again in what might be his final kick at McMahon Stadium.
Well, might we have a story reminiscent of the Louis Bisaglia story, where a number of kickers in the league that are still in the playoffs have an opportunity to go out a winner.
McLaughlin from 38 yards.
38 yards, a 9-point lead. So that 2-point convert so critical now. It puts it out of reach for the Lions. They need 2 scores. A touchdown and a 2-point convert, not enough.
If you're Calgary, keep coming after him.
Damon Allen's got to air it out, and he's got an open man. Denny Montana near midfield stops the clock. 67 seconds to go, and Montana has his first catch of this West Semi.
I really hate pillow defense. I really hate it. It's too soft. You got to play hard. You know, play the defense that gets you in there. I mean, you got to take chances sometimes, but you play, you know, 58 minutes, 59 minutes this entire game. Don't sit in a prevent.
Well, Calgary's had trouble finishing teams this year. We've seen some strange endings. Here's Allen over the middle, has another completion. That's Robert Drummond with the catch.
See, all Calgary's doing, Chris, is just sitting back in a deep zone, keeping everything in front of them and saying, hey, we're going to make you work for everything, but we're going to give you the underneath stuff.
Eskimos watching this. Here's Allen, now looking deep, looking downfield into the end zone, and it's dropped. Oh, it's a drop ball by Mel Long, who had the second touchdown pass of his day, slipped through his fingers.
Well, I think the only people that are going to have to show up at defensive film are going to be Kelly Malvo and any receiver that he's played against, because, again, they're going after him. I mean, this is the confidence. Mel Long knows. He says, throw me the football. Now, he actually look how he plays his body. He slows up, allowing himself to have an opportunity to catch the football. He does everything right except catch the football.
4 times in the past, these teams have met in the West Semi. All 4 times Calgary's won. 2nd and 10. And Damon's got to dance out of trouble. Looks downfield and look out. A big collision there, and Barnes jarred the ball loose from Montana.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you what. If Dennis Montana gets a hold of Barnes and finds his address, send him a card, because I'll tell you what, Joe Barnes could have killed him on this play. He stopped and just put a shoulder in him. I mean, if he wanted to, he could have actually took him out. I mean, you can hear the crunch, Chris, but I tell you what, Joe Barnes took it easy on Dennis Montana.
They're on their feet at McMahon. It's 3rd and 10 BC. And Allen looking down the sidelines, incomplete. Intended for Jimmy Oliver, and with 36 seconds left, the celebration is now on, and we will see another all-Alberta Western final. For the 7th time in 11 years, there's Wally Buono, one of his daughters, Christy, a national champion in soccer. And every week she gives Coach Buono a motivational message. It's different every week. He keeps them all. And somehow his team has put all the negatives of this season behind them and have unseated the defending champions here this afternoon.
Well, they have unseated them. But I tell you what, you got to give BC credit. Baby. They played a good football game.
Hamilton, baby.
They took it right down to the wire to try and get back into it.
Well, one team, 3 days, 3 games, 9 days, prevailed today. The Hamilton Tiger Cats also had that long flight back home to deal with. The Lions won that football game Tuesday, but have come up short in the 4th quarter today.
Well, they ran the ball effectively, made some key catches on the pass. Mel Long with a nice touchdown reception. They did some good things. Calgary did some good things, just a little bit better.
Calgary going to run it down as Marcus Crandall, a former Eskimo who never really got the opportunity in Edmonton, will get a start against his old team in the Western Final, and that will be one of the intriguing storylines of another all-Alberta matchup.
Well, I think both finals are going to be exciting football. I mean, Hamilton going to Winnipeg to play there in the Igloo, hosting the Calgary Stampeders.
Edmonton won twice, Calgary once, and they're going to do it again as Marcus Crandall, Wally Buono, and the Calgary Stampeders prevail in this Western semifinal at McMahon. The defending champions have been beaten. Kelly Malvo was in the middle of it all day, beaten early, but he bounced back with some huge defensive plays down the stretch. Little insurance from Mark McLaughlin, whose final season we expect in the CFL will continue Got congratulations from his old running mate, Tony Martino. Mark Bo Richter with a pair of touchdown catches on the day. First time a Western Semi has featured two teams with losing records, but it turned out to be an interesting one as we join Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Chris, and a nice gesture, Marcus Crandall. Damon Allen just came over and gave you a handshake.
It's great coming from a guy like that. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, and to have him come over here and congratulate me is great.
Marcus, I got to tell you, you looked a little like Damon Allen, the way you got yourself out of trouble today.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot from watching him, you know. I've been watching him for 4 years now, and, you know, when it was time for me to get out of there, I was able to get out.
Marcus, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in Edmonton.
All right, thanks a lot.
It's Marcus Crandall and the Stampeders who are bound for the Western Final in Edmonton next weekend with a 28-19 win over the BC Lions.